Starting a renovation project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for all your essentials at our 10 stores island-wide. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, a small majority of Jamaicans believe the Holness administration deserves a third term in office.
That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools.
The poll also finds Jamaicans over 60 are strongly in favor of a third term for the government.
Education Minister Favour Williams says the government is prepared to make changes to the PEP exams if necessary.
If there are changes needed to be made to it, obviously we will do what we always do.
The Supreme Court has dismissed JCAP's copyright claims against Horizon Entertainment and Communication Company Limited.
In news from the rest of the world, Antigua and Barbuda's controversial pro-whaling push under scrutiny as pivotal international meeting opens.
Lebanon says 492 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes. That includes 35 children.
In headline sports, 2 Jamaicans among 16 West Indies players signed up for the International League T20 series in Dubai.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35,
the Nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
A small majority of Jamaicans believe the Holness government deserves a third term in office. The sentiment is being driven by older voters, women, and young people. But can it hold? Public commentators Dr. Nadine Spence, Deacon Peter Espute, and social media commentator Suel Anglin will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask your reaction to 44% of Jamaicans saying the country is going in the wrong direction. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can also message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693 or leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, we continue our assessment of the latest nationwide Blue Dot poll findings. Crime, corruption, and the cost of living are top concerns for Jamaicans. Public commentators Jermaine Barrett, Clyde Williams, and Kevin O'Brien Chang will weigh in.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store this Monday afternoon, Monday, September 23, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details.
The Nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
A small majority of Jamaicans, nearly 52%, say the Holness administration deserves a third term in office. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. The poll was conducted between September 6th and 19th. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 3%. Ricardo Brooks has the details.
The Holness administration and its admirers have been adamant that a third term in government is imminent. In fact, they say it's loading. If Jamaicans had a say today, it appears the JLP's hopes would be affirmed at the ballot box. When the Blue Dot posters asked 1,246 Jamaicans whether they think the Holness administration deserves a third term in office, the answer was yes. Nearly 52% of respondents said yes. 48% said no. That's a 4 percentage point majority, which is just outside the 3% margin of error. Also of note is the fact that those who believe the government deserves a third term have increased by 5 percentage points since February this year. So what's driving this shift towards an unprecedented third term for the JLP? Well, women are playing an active role. Female voters continue to power the Labour Party's fortunes in these polls, with 54% of them saying Prime Minister Andrew Holness should lead Jamaica beyond 2025. On the flip side, 46% of women voters want Holness and his government gone. This is compared to the evenly divided sentiment among men, with 50% saying no to a third term and an equal number of 50% saying yes. If there's any reason for the JLP to pause and take stock of these numbers, it's that 52% of unaffiliated Jamaicans do not believe the party should be returned to power. That's compared to the 48% of unaffiliated voters who say yes. That's a 4 percentage point gap. Labourites continue to break heavily in favor of a third term, with 89% saying their party deserves to remain at the helm. 83% of comrades say no.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News. Meanwhile, the governing JLP has its strongest support for a third term among voters 65 years and older, with 56% indicating the party deserves a third term in office. The finding is notable as the opposition People's National Party, PNP, usually registers strong support among this demographic. The age group 55 to 64 years old is evenly divided 50-50 on the question of a third term for the JLP. It's a similar evenly divided situation among those 45 to 54 years old. 55% of voters 35 to 44 years old want to see the Holness government returned for a third term. 45% said no. Among voters 25 to 34 years old, 51% are in favor of a third term, while 49% say no. Young voters 18 to 24 years old also break in favor of the JLP. 54% of them support a third term, while 46% said no. The Education Minister, Favour Williams, says her ministry is prepared to make changes to Jamaica's primary exit profile PEP examinations if necessary. She was reacting to Prime Minister Andrew Holness's recent statements, highlighting his concerns about Jamaica's culture of exit exams at the primary level. Mahiri Stewart spoke with the minister on Monday.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has, on 2 separate occasions this month, expressed his thoughts about the methodology used in Jamaica to place primary and preparatory students in high schools. He says the current method places students who are unable to excel in exam-like conditions at a disadvantage. He went on to note that exit exams placed too much pressure on Jamaica's students. When asked for her opinion on the matter, the Education Minister says her ministry stands ready to make the necessary changes if needs arise.
Obviously, at any point in a country's evolution of its education sector, we ought to stop and look and see how well the education sector is doing, how well it's serving the country. And if there are changes needed to be made to it, obviously we will do what we always do in terms of the broad consultation, hear from everyone, and incorporate those changes into the education sector.
Minister Williams says the culture of exit exams in Jamaica is one that has lasted for decades. She believes the sector must adapt to help students of different abilities and learning styles.
We understand the evolution in the education sector. We understand that our students learn differently. They learn at different pace. They have interests that are as varied as anything else. And so as an education sector, we have to cater to that. In Jamaica, historically, we rely on exams to help our students to move from one stage to the next, especially from primary school to secondary school. And so over the years, over the decades, we've developed this exam culture in Jamaica.
Minister Williams says the Prime Minister's comments were meant to spark necessary discussions about reassessing the education sector.
I know currently we're going through education transformation to improve the output. And when we talk about the output, we're talking about the passes from the sector to improve the knowledge level of children who are graduating from the sector. So it's a dynamic sector, one that we continue to bring new knowledge to help our children. We understand as we develop in Jamaica that from time to time we have to reassess, we have to look at, we have to make changes. And so I think it was in that vein that the Prime Minister spoke. And of course, it's for us to design.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News. The Supreme Court has dismissed an application by the Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors and Publishers, JCAP, for specific disclosure against Horizon Entertainment and Communication Company Limited. The pivotal ruling was handed down last week. It marks a significant development in a long-running copyright dispute over unpaid licensing fees for the use of copyrighted musical works. JCAP had initially secured a default judgment against Horizon Entertainment, but the court ruled that the absence of a tribunal-approved licensing scheme undermined JCAP's ability to pursue further claims. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The case arose after JCAP accused Horizon Entertainment of using copyrighted musical works without a valid license. A default judgment was previously granted in JCAP's favor, allowing them to proceed with an assessment of damages. However, JCAP's attempt to obtain Horizon Entertainment's audited financial statements, key evidence in calculating damages, was challenged by Horizon's attorney, Mr. Chuck Cameron. In his defense, Mr. Cameron argued that JCAP had no legal grounds to demand specific disclosure or collect licensing fees, as no rates had been approved by the Copyright Tribunal as required by Jamaica's Copyright Act. The court's ruling centered on several critical issues. The court found that JCAP had not fulfilled the legal requirement of obtaining a tribunal-approved licensing scheme, which would have set the rates and terms for used copyright works. Without this, JCAP lacked the legal standing to demand financial disclosure or pursue damages. While JCAP had obtained a default judgment, the court ruled that it was not enough to proceed with the assessment of damages without a proper licensing framework in place. Mr. Cameron also successfully argued that without a rate approved by the Copyright Tribunal, JCAP could not enforce the collection of fees or seek damages in court. This decision has wide-reaching implications for JCAP and other licensing bodies in Jamaica. Without a valid tribunal-approved licensing scheme, JCAP is not only barred from collecting licensing fees from Horizon Entertainment, but may also face challenges to fees previously collected. The ruling sets a clear precedent emphasizing the need for transparency and adherence to statutory requirements under the Copyright Act. For the broader creative industry, the case underscores the importance of following proper legal procedures. When seeking damages for copyright infringement, licensing bodies must ensure they have a valid approved scheme in place before pursuing financial compensation. Mr. Cameron praised the ruling as a victory for the rule of law in Jamaica.
It does all go well for the rule of law, despite what may appear to be a setback for Jacob. There must be certainty in the law, and when an investor wants to invest in a country, once there's a law, we have to have confidence, or they must have confidence that the law will be followed. In this case, the law requires that a copyright tribunal has to be set up to determine what rates must be charged. So we are happy for the outcome.
JCAP now faces the challenge of reviewing its licensing practices and ensuring compliance with the Copyright Act. The organization may need to halt fee collections until a valid licensing scheme is approved or risk further legal challenges. JCAP could also face potential claims for refunds of fees collected without proper legal authorization. Mr. Cameron says this ruling marks a turning point for the organization, which must now navigate the complexities of legal compliance to continue its role in the creative industry.
And this does inure to the benefit of Jamaica and hopefully to the benefit of content creators, because what we want is transparency and adherence to the rule of law.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rent-to-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-to-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-to-Kill is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
Yes, Kemlani Mart is making deals.
Really? Deals like what?
On scratch, dented, new furniture and appliances.
Oh, that's great.
And that's not all. Kemlani Mart has tiles, toilets, doors at crazy low prices.
So I can make a deal on a sofa set?
Of course, and dining room sets, outdoor furniture, ACs and more. No reasonable offer will be refused.
Only at Kemlani Mart, Manor Center and 77 King Street.
I love this place, you see.
Continuing the news. People's National Party caretaker for Central Kingston, Lawrence Rowe, is calling on Member of Parliament Donovan Williams to publicly clarify whether he is among the 8 parliamentarians currently under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. Mr. Rowe's call comes amidst what he sees as growing concerns about transparency and accountability in Jamaica's political landscape. He's highlighting the fact that Prime Minister Andrew Holness's statutory declaration remains uncertified, with his financial affairs referred to the Financial Investigation Division, the FID, for further scrutiny. The Integrity Commission's investigation named 3 companies. It has concerns about their intercompany transactions. These are Positive Media Solutions Limited, Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, and Easterbridge Development Limited. Mr. Rowe alleges that records from the company's Office of Jamaica show that MP Williams serves as secretary for all 3 companies. In light of this, Mr. Rowe is requesting that the Member of Parliament publicly address several questions to maintain public trust. He's asking if the MP's statutory declaration has been certified since 2020. Mr. Rowe is also asking what's Mr. Williams' involvement with the 3 companies in question and whether his association was declared to the Parliament. According to the PMP caretaker, these questions are not only about the Member of Parliament, but about the integrity of Jamaica's parliamentary system.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has rejected a claim suggesting Jamaica's sending of security forces to Haiti constitutes support for an invasion. The Prime Minister was challenged by a member of the diaspora on the issue at a town hall at the Lemon Center for the Performing Arts in New York on Saturday. According to the diaspora member, Jamaica is acting as a proxy group for the United States. But Mr. Holness rejected that claim, saying he's acted on behalf of the Haitian people.
My friend, I respect your perspective, but I disagree wholeheartedly with what you have said. Jamaica is an independent nation, and we are a sovereign country. Let us be clear that we were invited by the government of Haiti. Let us be clear. I visited Haiti on a mission, and when I met with all the stakeholders, speaking with Haitians, not with people outside, Haitian stakeholders. But let's be clear, we are not acting on the directions of anyone. I want that to be clear. This notion that we cannot act with our own agency is false and should be dismissed.
Jamaica began its participation in the multinational security support mission in Haiti with the deployment of 24 personnel on September 12. The deployment comprised 20 Jamaica Defense Force personnel and 4 Jamaica Constabulary Force members. The initial contingent will provide command, planning, and logistics support. The Prime Minister says it's time Black nations support each other.
We are sending support to Haiti because we have solidarity with the people of Haiti. They have asked for our support. But let us also be clear that it is in our interest. Guns come into Jamaica from Haiti. Please, sir, accept that Jamaica can act in its national interest. All right. And it is about time that black countries and black nations support each other.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Antigua and Barbuda is asking the International Whaling Commission, the IWC, to lift a decades-old ban on whaling. The Twin Islands state has submitted a resolution calling for an end to the long moratorium on hunting whales for meat at an IWC meeting being held in Peru. The IWC meeting began on Sunday. The resolution has attracted international attention. A coalition of 25 NGOs representing more than 10 million members have urged Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown and Tourism Minister Charles Fernandez to withdraw it. These organizations and local environmentalists have warned that Antigua's pro-whaling stance could significantly damage its vital tourism sector. The debate underscores the broader challenges faced by small island nations in balancing economic development, diplomatic ties, and environmental stewardship in an increasingly interconnected world. The outcome of the IWC's decision on the resolution could have far-reaching implications for global whaling policies, marine conservation efforts, and Antigua and Barbuda's tourism industry.
Lebanon's health ministry says at least 492 people have been killed and more than 1,145 wounded in Israeli strikes on Monday. He says this is the deadliest day of the Israel-Hezbollah conflict since 2006. Israel says it is broadening its strikes against Hezbollah as citizens in southern Lebanon have received phone messages warning them to leave places used by the Iran-backed group. Lebanon's prime minister says Israel's actions amount to a war of extermination. But Israel's defense minister says strikes will continue until they achieve their goals to return the residents of the north safely to their homes. Fears of an all-out regional conflict in the Middle East have grown in the past week. Cross-border attacks have ratcheted up after a series of exploding device attacks on Hezbollah members, which were widely blamed on Israel.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, a small majority of Jamaicans believe the Holness administration deserves a third term in office.
That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools.
The poll also finds Jamaicans over 60 are strongly in favor of a third term for the government.
Education Minister Favour Williams says the government is prepared to make changes to the PEP exams if necessary.
If there are changes needed to be made to it, obviously we will do what we always do.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
You good, Mark? No, you know, from what day me have these terrible heartburns. I don't know why. What kind of food you eating? To tell you the truth, you know, I mostly eat fast food. I live alone and I'm too busy for cook my youth. That's your problem. You're eating too much processed food and building up trans fat. Trans fat? What that? Trans fat is a type of fat in a processed foods like fried chicken, fries, donuts, and them things there. So how that cause heartburn? So eating trans fat can cause acid reflux.
So if you don't stop eat it or cut back on the amount you eat, things can get worse.
Like what?
You can get heart attacks, stroke, type 2 diabetes, or even die.
But fats and oils not important for eat, my youth.
Yes, but the healthy kind in a vegetable aisle, nuts and fish.
Okay, no, me go switch up my diet starting today.
Just remember to balance it out with your fresh fruits, vegetables, and ground provision.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Energize your life the right way with DBJ. Yeah, you must can save enough energy solution. Choose one today for your house or your business. Money I go save. Yeah, DBJ. Energize your life the right way. The Development Bank of Jamaica Limited is here to help you with the purchase and installation of renewable energy systems to help you save on your energy bill. Contact your business banker or bank today. Energize your business or home the right way with DBJ Energy Loan.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former Harborview assistant coach Sean Fraser has turned down the chance to coach Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League outfit Dunby Holden at this time due to other commitments. The Dunby Holden head coaching job became available this morning following the resignation of Philip Williams, who 2 games into the new season. Philip Williams tendered his resignation as coach following the team's defeat to newly promoted Racing United in their St. Catherine derby on Sunday. Williams joined Dunby Holden. This is just before the start of the new season, replacing Lenny Hyde. In his 2 games in charge, Williams lost a 3-0 to Arnett Gardens in the season opener before yesterday's defeat to Racing. Fraser was rumoured to be heading to the former Premier League finalists, but he told Nationwide Sports a short while ago that he was contacted by the Dunby Holden management but says he could not accept the offer at this time.
It's not about refusing, but the thing is I have to look at the job that I have at this present time. I am on probation for 6 months. When January comes, then I'm free to sign with any club. I'm the technical director of Hillel Academy. We have Pepsi and Coles coming up. I'm entering Pepsi and Coles this year. So therefore, I don't want anything to clash with that. January, I should be free and available to utilize my skills wherever I choose to go.
Fraser says if the club intends for him to be their long-term coach, then at the end of January next year, he could be available.
I spoke with one of their delegates, and he understands where I'm at and what I'm saying. I told him if the job is still free in January, I'll be available. It's not like I'm turning down the job or anything. It's just that the job that I have at this present time does not allow me with the time to go and coach another club, because I am also an assistant PE teacher, as long as being a head coach and the head of football at Hillel Academy. So my straight focus right now is just on the school and to develop the younger ones into better human beings and better football players.
Sean Fraser, Nationwide Sports, understands that Williams, who is also a head coach of the St. Andrew Technical High School Manning Cup team, was given an ultimatum by the school to choose club or the school. Meanwhile, 2 former champions, Harborview and Montego Bay United, will lock horns in the Monday night feature game of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League. The game to be played tonight at 8 o'clock. Montego Bay sits at the top of the table on 3 points, the same as 7 other teams, but with a superior goal difference. The Stars of the East are hoping to get their first point of the season. Jamaicans Rodman Powell and Andre Russell are amongst 18 West Indians who have been contracted to play in the International League T20 series in Dubai next year. Powell, the West Indies white ball captain, will play for the Dubai Capitals, while Russell will suit up for the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders. Of the 18 West Indians in the league, 5 of them will be playing in the competition for the first time. Shea Hope, Terence Hines, Romario Shepherd, Dominic Drakes and Ruston Chase. Obed McCoy will join Powell at the Dubai Capitals. Shepherd will join an all-star West Indian contingent at MI Emirates, including Kyron Pollard, Akil Hussain, Andre Fletcher, Dwayne Bravo and Nicholas Puran. Kima Paul has been signed by the Sharjah Warriors, who have also taken on the St. Lucian Johnson Charles on their roster. Chase will suit up for the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders alongside Russell, Sonny Narayan, Gudakesh Moti and Hines. Drakes will ply his trade with the Gulf Giants, featuring Guyanese batsman Shimron Hitmar, while Sherfin Rutherford will be one of the overseas players for the Desert Vipers. The 3rd season of the ILT20 kicks off on Saturday, January 11, 2025. 2025. The month-long 34-match tournament will culminate with the final on Sunday, February 9, 2025. Finally, in sports at this time, Jamaican teams completed a 2-match series win against opponents from Trinidad and Tobago in the Netball Jamaica Island Vibes tournament at the National Indoor Sports Centre last night. The National Under-16s beat their counterparts from TNT 42-16, while Denby High registered a 38-15 win over Trinidad and Tobago's Under-18s. Vice President of Netball Jamaica, Simone Forbes, says the scores are not a true reflection of the quality of the games.
Really neither here nor there. It's really about development for these youngsters. And so last night we saw some of our youngsters, under 16-year-olds, in competition again. And you see where, for me, they've improved since the last time we saw them against Denby and the other teams. And Trinidad, of course, getting an opportunity, which they don't usually do, at least at this level, to play against a team like Jamaica outside of a tournament.
That's Vice President of Netball Jamaica, Simone Forbes. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30. The cover story is up next.
The future of manufacturing is now. Join the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, in association with VM Group for an unforgettable evening on September 28, 2024 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. They're celebrating the industry's brightest minds and the groundbreaking achievements shaping Jamaica's future. Request your tickets at bit.ly/2024 awards tickets or email awards@jmea.org to learn more. Let's witness the future. September 28 at 6:30 p.m., the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel.
Motorists, as Minister of Justice, I appeal to you, obey the road code, pay your ticket on time, and only go to court if the ticket is being contested. Close to 80% of matters coming to the parish courts are for traffic breaches. Let's work together to make our roads safe and ease the burden on our courts.
Drive Hyundai. Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a famous gamer with viral videos all over the internet. I'm going to be rich. Good thing I'll already know how to take care of my money since Mommy got me this Sure Start account.
Open a CIBC Caribbean Sure Start account for your kids and give them a head start on financial smarts with a $1,200 sign-up bonus from us. We believe in their dreams as much as you do, so let's get them going together. Start young, start strong with Sure Start from CIBC.
You want to play all your favorite Supreme Ventures games like Cashpot and Lotto in a one place? Plus BetPon Sports with Just Bet and horse racing with MBet? Come take a step in at the new SV Games app. All of the games you love in a one place. Step in and play all your numbers. BetPon all your sports and get enough chances to win in the only gaming app you need. SV Games from Supreme Ventures. Visit supremegames.com to download the SV Games app. More ways to bet, more ways to win at your fingertips. Must be 18 years or older to play.
I've been hearing about this constitutional reform thing. You know anything about it?
Yes, constitutional reform is a chance for us to Jamaicanize the constitution.
But how?
Enough things changed since 1962 and we have matured as a nation. So modernizing the constitution will reflect our current societal values.
Oh, a constitution for Jamaicans, approved by Jamaicans.
Are you ready for the journey? Join us on the road to Republic. Think independence, think Republic. A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Welcome to our Active Corner brought to you by Active Home Center. Are you ready to upgrade your bathroom? It's time to choose the perfect toilet for your space. First, consider the size of your bathroom. Measure the space where the toilet will be installed so it fits comfortably. Also, decide if you'd want a standing toilet or one that floats from the wall to suit your style. Did you know toilets can conserve water too? Look for toilets with a green WaterSense label that uses less water when flushing. Also, consider soft close toilet seats that close slowly and quietly. Shop toilets in our showroom today. Tune in at this time for more from Active Home Center.
You good, Mark?
No, from where they me have these terrible heartburns. I don't know why.
What kind of food you eating?
To tell you the truth, I mostly eat fast food. I live alone and I'm too busy for cook my youth.
That's your problem. You're eating too much processed food and building up trans fat.
Trans fat? What that?
Trans fat is a type of fat in a processed foods like fried chicken, fries, donuts, and them things there.
So how that cause heartburn?
So eating trans fat can cause acid reflux. So if you don't stop eat it or cut back on the amount you eat, things can get worse.
Like what?
You can get heart attacks, stroke, type 2 diabetes, or even die.
But fats and oils no important for eat my youth.
Yes, but the healthy kind in a vegetable aisle, nuts and fish.
Okay, I'm gonna switch up my diet starting today.
Just remember to balance it out with your fresh fruits, vegetables, and ground provision.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Attention motorists. It's time to switch to the T-Tag on Highway 2000 East West. Vehicles using the automated T-Tag lane are processed in seconds, so you can pass through the toll plazas far quicker. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted to only $1,500, including a $500 toll credit from now until September 30.
You want to play all your favorite Supreme Ventures games like Cashpot and Lotto in a one place? Plus bet on sports with Just Bet and horse racing with MBet? Come take a step in at the new SV Games app. All of the games you love in a one place. Step in and play all your numbers. Bet on all your sports and get enough chances to win in the only gaming app you need. SV Games from Supreme Ventures. Visit supremegames.com to download the SV Games app. More ways to bet, more ways to win at your fingertips. Must be 18 years or older to play.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations. The supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Good afternoon. 23 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks. Good afternoon, Sir Cliff.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good. Well, let's get to our cover story. And all this week, it will be the NNN Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. We are unveiling the results for you. The Blue Dot data scientists went into the field in Jamaica between September 6 and 19. Yes, September 6 and 19. Remember, the poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 3%. And we started unveiling the results this morning. We have another set to tell you this evening. A small majority of Jamaicans, nearly 52%, say the Holness administration deserves a third term in office. And we have the details from Ricardo Brooks.
The Holness administration and its admirers have been adamant that a third term in government is imminent. In fact, they say it's loading. If Jamaicans had a say today, it appears the JLP's hopes would be affirmed at the ballot box. When the Blue Dot posters asked 1,246 Jamaicans whether they think the Holness administration deserves a third term in office, the answer was yes. Nearly 52% of respondents said yes. 48% said no. That's a 4 percentage point majority, which is just outside the 3% margin of error. Also of note, is the fact that those who believe the government deserves a third term have increased by 5 percentage points since February this year. So what's driving this shift towards an unprecedented third term for the JLP? Well, women are playing an active role. Female voters continue to power the Labour Party's fortunes in these polls, with 54% of them saying Prime Minister Andrew Holness should lead Jamaica beyond 2025. On the flip side, 46% of women voters want Holness and his government gone. This is compared to the evenly divided sentiment among men, with 50% saying no to a third term and an equal number of 50% saying yes. If there's any reason for the JLP to pause and take stock of these numbers, it's that 52% of unaffiliated Jamaicans do not believe the party should be returned to power. That's compared to the 48% of unaffiliated voters who say yes. That's a 4 percentage point gap. Labourites continue to break heavily in favor of a third term, with 89% saying their party deserves to remain at the helm. 83% of comrades say no.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News. With us now to offer perspectives, public commentator Dr. Nadine Spence, social commentator Suel Anglin, and public commentator Deacon Peter Espute. Just before we get to our guests, we should tell the listeners as well, Cliff, that the governing JLP in this data set has its strongest support for a third term among voters 65 years and older, with 56% indicating the party deserves a third term in office. Now, of course, that finding is notable. It jumps out because the opposition People's National Party, they usually register strong support among this demographic. The age group 55 to 64 years old, that's evenly divided, 50-50, on the question of whether the JLP deserves a third term.
It's a similar evenly divide among those 45 to 54 years old. 55% of voters 35 to 44 years old want to see the Holness administration returned for a third term. 45% don't.
Among voters 25 to 34 years old, 51%, they are in favor of a third term, while 49% say no. Young voters 18 to 24 years old, they also break in favor of the JLP. 54% of them support a third term, while 46% are saying no.
And just let me tell you the trends that the poll has picked up since February this year, when this question was asked about the government, whether it deserves a third term. At that time, February this year, only 47% said yes, 53% said no. In September 2023 last year, yes, only 43% said yes then. No was at 57%. To where we are now, September 24, 52% saying yes, 48% saying no.
Dr. Nadine Spence, Suel Anglin, Deacon Espute, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello, college.
I want to start with you, Dr. Spence, because this finding that voters over 65, are breaking in favor of the JLP. I'm wondering how much of that you would attribute to what we heard in the budget debate, because there are quite a few proposals advanced by the finance minister that were targeted at the elderly, and I wondered if you thought that might be having an effect on these numbers.
When you said it, I thought of that. I thought, in respect of policies and the kinds of tangible results that I think those older voters who might have opined about their preference would inspire them to vote for the government. I thought of that. And I also thought of the fact that older people, I think, are less likely to change as readily as younger people. So those were the two things I thought about. I wondered if it was a factor of what people perceive to be a government that, at least in its last budget debate, the last budget debate seemed to be favoring elderly. I think it's not just that too. I think matters related to pension. Perhaps those people who are, if this is the age group that is near a pension, the age of collecting their pension or relying on their pension.
Right.
I think some of the government policies related to pensions have also been favorable for those people. So I think those are some of the factors that might be influencing people's perceptions of the government.
Certainly, there was an increase in the NIS pensions, but we're up on the break. Hold it there for us. We're speaking to Dr. Nadine Spence, Sewell Anglin, and Deacon Peter Espute.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs. From luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads, a place you've come to know and trust for quality and the best prices. Now, come see our expanded range of products, fine furnishings, kitchenware, your smart TVs, and all things electronics, and the latest in curtains, bed linen, and bathroom accessories. It's the new and expanded Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads with convenient, safe, and free parking. Shop with a smile at Azen Super Center.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify, and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Highway 2000 East West. The T-Tag system reduces the amount of cash handled at our toll plazas and makes it safer for our staff and motorists at the toll booths. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted to only $1,500, including a $500 toll credit from now until September 30.
You want to play all your favorite Supreme Ventures games like Cashpot and Lotto in a one place? Plus bet on sports with Just Bet and horse racing with MBet? Come take a step in at the new SV Games app. All of the games you love in a one place. Step in and play all your numbers. Bet on all your sports and get enough chances to win in the only gaming app you need. SV Games from Supreme Ventures. Visit supremegames.com to download the SV Games app. More ways to bet, more ways to win at your fingertips. Must be 18 years or older to play.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
12 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. We're inside the nationwide cover story. We're looking at the latest Blue Dot poll findings powered by Total Tools. The question all about whether the government deserves a third term. And a small majority, 52% saying yes, just outside the margin of error, 3% saying yes. We have with us Dr. Nadine Spence, Deacon Peter Espute, and Public Commentator Sewell Anglin. So we heard from Dr. Spence. Let me hear from you, Deacon Peter, Deacon Espute. What do you make of these numbers?
Hi, Keith. Hi, Ricardo.
Hello, Deacon.
Thanks for asking me to comment. I really enjoy talking about statistics because it's something that I teach at university, and a lot of people don't really understand how to analyze statistics. I heard both of you say that the margin of error is that the data is outside the margin of error. That's not strictly true. The margin of error I'm gathering is 3%, plus or minus.
Yes.
So that's 52%. The real figure is not 52. The real figure is somewhere within a band of 52 plus 3 and 52 minus 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhere between 55 and 49.
Uh-huh.
And then the no figure of 48 is somewhere between 48 plus 3 and 48 minus 3, which is 51 and 46.
Mm-hmm.
So actually there's quite a bit of overlap there. And so statisticians will not say that it's outside the margin of error. Statisticians will say that it's within the margin of error and that the data shows a statistical dead heat. And so, but what we like to do is to look at the trend. You gave the trend data, and the data for September last year is definitely outside the margin of error and shows people thinking that the government is going in the wrong direction. The February this year data shows that the gap is narrowing. Still, yes, statistically significant that the government is going in the wrong direction. But this September 24 data is within the margin of error and therefore is a statistical dead heat. But what the data shows is that the gap is narrowing. So we should expect the next poll that Blue Dot does will show, in fact, that the people think that the government is going in the right direction. And
No. Hold on, Peter. We're not talking about wrong or right direction now. We're talking about whether they deserve a third term or not.
Yes.
Not to be confused with...
A poll is a snapshot.
Yes.
And it's a moving target. And I'm trying to show the direction in which it is moving.
Yes,
the direction in which it is moving.
But hold on. Don't confuse.
In favor of the JLP.
Hold on, just a moment. Don't confuse. The question we unveiled the results earlier this morning was in relation to whether the country is going in the right direction or the wrong direction.
Yes.
Yes? This question has to do with whether they deserve or not a third term.
I'm sorry, Cliff, I misspoke.
Yes.
I was, in fact, speaking about whether they deserve a third term.
And you're saying you believe...
Because I did hear the program this morning and enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
And I misspoke.
So you're saying you believe, based on what you've seen, that the trend is in their favor?
I'm saying that the statistics show that, without a shadow of a doubt. That a year ago in September, the majority said wrong direction.
57.
In February, a smaller majority said wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
But this poll that is being revealed today is a statistical dead heat.
Right. So
I'm saying that the direction of the data is towards the JLP, but it's not there yet. This data, I'm saying, is within the margin of error, and therefore we have to say it's a statistical dead heat.
And what do you think accounts for that trend in the government's favor?
That now is beyond the statistician's ken. That is within the realm of the political scientist and the political analyst. I don't claim to be that, but if you want me to give a stab, I think that, I would have to be guessing, I don't believe that the PNP has shown themselves to be a strong alternative. In my columns over the last year or two, I've been saying to the PNP, if you want people to vote for you as opposed to voting against the JLP, you have to give people something to vote for. You have to say what you stand for people to vote for you. If you don't do that, then what you're doing is you're expecting people to just wait for the JLP to implode and to vote against the JLP. And I don't think even after the conference that the PNP has given the electorate adequate stuff to vote for.
And it's interesting you say that, Deacon, because that's where I want to pick up with Suel, because a lot of what happened at the conference was overshadowed by the appearance of Mr. Palmer. But if you could just cast your mind back, Suel, to that hour-long presentation from the leader of the opposition, I suppose the question to you is, do you think he at least started the process of trying to differentiate the People's National Party from the ruling Jamaica Labour Party?
Hi everyone. Ricardo, I think I would say they started. I don't think that they had any new exciting ideas that kind of wowed us. I think a lot of the things that they say are either trying to improve on current things that we have, or maybe to bolster what we currently have happening now. So I wouldn't say that they had anything new that kind of blew us away. But I think they were kind of getting somewhere. And I think just like what you said, all of that was overshadowed by the appearance of Vice Cartel. So, if you look on social media after, everybody wasn't talking about anything that was said. Nobody could remember anything of substance that was said or done throughout the conference. Everybody was talking about the presence of Vice Cartel. And I think where the PMP continues to go wrong is that sometimes they have a little bit of substance and they're heading in the right direction, or they have the good foot forward. But somehow I think they almost seem as if they're more interested in being popular and kind of having the word bite of the day, and I think that gets overshadowed by any ounce of effort that they're putting in. And we saw it at a lot of the public stagings that they have had in recent times. Even if what they present are something of substance or something, it gets overshadowed by them trying to be popular within this public space. And I think that is where they continue to go wrong. It makes the party seem as if there's no substance. It makes the party seem like they are more about gimmicks and less about substance. And I think young people are starting to pick up on that. And I think what the JLP has started to do well is that they have started to improve their communication. And I think having Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has been a very good addition. And when you look on social media, she is very up to date. She's letting people know what's happening in the party. She's letting them know what to do.
Sorry, we're losing you, Suel. Repeat that.
No, I'm saying, sorry, I think because I was driving. I'm saying that what the JLP has been doing very good is the addition of Senator Dr. Dana Dixon. She, if you look across social media, she has been keeping the public very abreast of what's happening, the new policies, how people can participate, how they can get their voice involved. And I think people are becoming very aware of a lot of things that we weren't aware of maybe like a few months ago with the JLP. So the JLP has started to improve their communication. Their narrative is very steady with what the party is doing. And I think the PMP continues to put gimmick over substance. And I think people are beginning to realize that.
Nadine Spence, I want you to weigh in for me on the gender divide. Women breaking more for the JLP than men do. For example, the pollsters write a modest variation in gender-based perceptions regarding whether the JLP deserves a third term. In September 24, female respondents showed more support, with 54% responding yes. And Peter, you're the statistical lecturer. That's outside the margin of error now. At 54%. Yes. While for men, 50-50.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me, Nadine Spence, why do you think more women are breaking for the JLP than men on this issue?
And I think of two things, Chris. Up to about 8 years or so ago, perhaps 6, unemployment among women was very high, was double that of men. And since the JLP government, what has happened is that as we see the unemployment rate trending down, what we've seen is a rise in employment for women. That's one. So I think women feel better about the government in respect of their employability and their employment statistics. That's one. The second thing is globally, women are participating more in politics and are voting more, and they're also more in support of the parties in power. So, and I think post-COVID, we're seeing women more decided in respect of issues that I wish in Jamaica we would break down to see what are the issues. We usually talk about a woman's political agenda. What are the issues on a woman's political agenda?
And anecdotally, Dr. Spence, the women say the Prime Minister look good. They say it all the time, all across social media. The women I know in my life say the same thing.
That is the third thing I was going to say. I was going to say on a matter of just sheer good looks. If you remember, there was a conversation that was in the public already about who looked better and who dressed better and who women felt that their looks alone would cause them to vote, and it was Andrew Holness. And so women also vote for the contestant who they think is more attractive. So attractiveness is also a part of it. So that could be one of the explanations as to why women are indicating that they would prefer to vote for the Prime Minister as a...
Let me hear Sewell Anglin on this. Sewell, let me hear you on this. What do you think? Is that a factor?
Yeah, I mean, I share a lot of the sentiments from Dr. Spence, particularly around the employment increase in women. And I think also outside of his looks, I mean, I think that is an art that we have been talking about for a while in the public space, and I think that is something that people have known. I'm not sure if that is still playing an active role right now with how people are seeing him. I think that's kind of wear off. I think people have seen him grow into this kind of man that you look at and you feel confident to say, okay, he can make decisions, and he can do things that you can rest assured and say, okay, I can have my life in this man's hands, and I know that he's doing the best for me. I think people have been seeing that over the years, and I think we are comfortable and okay with that now. But I think what Dr. Spence said, which I think is very important, is that women are paying very close attention to politics now. Like, people are actively listening to what is being said on the radio. People are looking at what is on social media. People are reading more. And so I think people have an active interest in seeing where the country is going, what is happening, what is, the development. And I think women are increasingly taking more interest in what is happening in the country, how is it benefiting me. If I should have children, how would that then benefit me? Am I able to have children in this economy? How does that look? And I think women are making active decisions for themselves now, so I think that plays a big role in this too.
Deaconess Butte, I'm going to give you the last word. Younger voters, according to the data scientists, are also, a majority saying that the government deserves a third term. Final comment from you.
The data that I saw showed that the youngest band of voters did that, but the second youngest did not. They were in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think this data needs much more interrogation, Cliff. I wish I had the statistics actually on my computer that I could do my own cross-tabulation. For example, I really enjoyed the program this morning where the majority said that they thought the government was going in the wrong direction. How can they say in the morning that the government is going in the wrong direction and in the afternoon say that they will vote for the JLP? Obviously, the data needs more interrogation, and I want to beg off and say that I would love to analyze the data, but I actually don't have it to analyze.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deacon Butte, Sewell Anglin, Dr. Nadine Spence. Thank you very much for the perspectives.
You ask any woman you know. Ask any woman you know.
Yeah, I've heard it.
They tell me.
Yeah, including some of those here.
One in particular.
Yes.
Yeah. The headlines are next.
Cover story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
It's 5 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Norige Banton. The Met Service says intermittent showers and thunderstorms is expected to continue across all parishes as a broad trough moves across the Western Caribbean. In an update on Monday, the Met Service says the trough is associated with the potential tropical cyclone 9. According to the Met Service, the trough is expected to remain across Jamaica until Wednesday, when a high-pressure ridge builds across the Central Caribbean. A flash flood watch also remains in effect for low-lying and flood-prone areas of southern and northwestern parishes. Residents are advised to take precautionary measures and be ready for quick action if flooding is observed or if a warning is issued. The flash flood watch is expected to remain in effect until 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Education Minister Favour Williams says her ministry is prepared to make changes to Jamaica's primary exit profile PEP examinations if necessary. She was reacting to Prime Minister Andrew Holness's recent statements, highlighting his concerns about Jamaica's culture of exit exams at the primary level. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has, on 2 separate occasions this month, expressed his thoughts about the methodology used in Jamaica to place primary and preparatory students in high schools. He says the current method places students who are unable to excel in exam-like conditions at a disadvantage. He went on to note that exit exams placed too much pressure on Jamaica's students. When asked for her opinion on the matter, the Education Minister says her ministry stands ready to make the necessary changes if needs arise.
Obviously, at any point in a country's evolution of its education sector, we ought to stop and look and see how well the education sector is doing, how well it's serving the country. And if there are changes needed to be made to it, obviously we will do what we always do in terms of the broad consultation, hear from everyone, and incorporate those changes into the education sector.
Minister Williams says the culture of exit exams in Jamaica is one that has lasted for decades. She believes the sector must adapt to help students of different abilities and learning styles. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has rejected a claim suggesting Jamaica's sending of security forces to Haiti constitutes support for an invasion. The Prime Minister was challenged by a member of the diaspora on the issue at a town hall at the Lemon Center for the Performing Arts in New York on Saturday. According to the diaspora member, Jamaica is acting as a proxy group for the United States, but Holness rejected that claim, saying he's acted on behalf of the Haitian people.
My friend, I respect your perspective, but I disagree wholeheartedly with what you have said. Jamaica is an independent nation, and we are a sovereign country. Let us be clear that we were invited by the government of Haiti. Let us be clear. I visited Haiti on a mission, and when I met with all the stakeholders, speaking with Haitians, that with people outside, Haitian stakeholders. But let's be clear, we are not acting on the directions of anyone. I want that to be clear. This notion that we cannot act with our own agency is false and should be dismissed.
Jamaica began its participation in the multinational security support mission in Haiti with the deployment of 24 personnel on September 12. The deployment comprised 20 Jamaica Defense Force personnel and 4 Jamaica Constabulary Force members. The initial contingent will provide command, planning and logistics support. The Prime Minister says it's time black nations support each other.
We are sending support to Haiti because we have solidarity with the people of Haiti. They have asked for our support. But let us also be clear that it is in our interest. Guns come into Jamaica from Haiti. Please, sir, accept that Jamaica can act in its national interest. All right. And it is about time that black countries and black nations support each other.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot. It's a big deal.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC, big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Tie your laces, put on something purple, and support the CIBC Caribbean Walk for the Cure. Join us at Hope Gardens on Sunday, October 6th at 6 a.m. We're walking, running, and moving in the fight against cancer. Sign up today at runningeventsja.com. Registration fee $3,000 includes your Walk for the Cure t-shirt while supplies last. CIBC Walk for the Cure, Sunday, October 6th, 6 a.m. at Hope Gardens. All proceeds in aid of the Jamaica Cancer Society.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former Harbour assistant coach Sean Fraser has turned down the chance to coach Ray and nephew Jamaica Premier League outfit Dun Beholden at this time due to other commitments. The Dun Beholden head coaching job became vacant this morning following the resignation of Philip Williams 2 games into the new season. Phillips Williams tendered his resignation as coach following the team's defeat to newly promoted Racing United in the St. Catherine Derby on Sunday. Williams joined Dun Beholden during the off-season, replacing Lenny Hyde. In his 2 games in charge, Williams lost a 3-0 to Arnett Gardens in the season opener before yesterday's defeat to Racing United. Fraser was rumored to be heading to the Dun Beholden team, but he told Nationwide Sports this afternoon that he was contacted by the Dun Beholden management, but he says he could not accept the offer at this time.
It's not about refusing, but the thing is I have to look at the job that I have at this present time. I am on probation for 6 months. When January comes, then I'm free to sign with any club. I'm the technical director of Hillel Academy. We have Pepsi and Coles coming up. I'm entering Pepsi and Coles this year, so therefore I don't want anything to clash with that. January, I should be free and available to utilize my skills wherever I choose to go.
Fraser says if the club intends for him to be their long-term coach, then at the end of January next year, he could be available.
I spoke with one of their delegates, and he understands where I'm at and what I'm saying. I told him if the job is still free in January, I'll be available. It's not like turning down the job or anything. It's just that the job that I have at this present time does not allow me with the time to go and coach another club, because I'm also an assistant PE teacher, as long as being a head coach and the head of football at Hillel Academy. So my straight focus right now is just on the school and to develop the younger ones into better human beings and better football players.
Sean Fraser, Nationwide Sports, understands that Williams, who is also head coach of the St. Andrew Technical High School Manning Cup team, was given an ultimatum by the school, the club, or the school. And the Premier League continues tonight with Harbourview taking on Montego Bay United at Montego Bay Sports Complex, Catherine Hall, starting at 8 o'clock. Calabar High School slammed the Kingston Tech 8-1 at Calabar this afternoon in the Issa Digital Manning Cup football competition. 4 games were postponed today because of the inclement weather. Bridgeport versus Jamaica College, Pembroke Hall versus Excelsior, Haile Selassie versus Stats, and Vauxhall against Camperdown. The Lone Costa Cup game between Little London and Black River was also postponed. The Friedkin Group has reached an agreement to buy Farhad Mashouri's majority 94% stake in English Premier League outfit Everton. The deal is subject to regulatory approval from the English Premier League, the Football Association, and the Financial Conduct Authority. A spokesperson for the Friedkin Group said in a statement on Monday, quote, "We're pleased to have reached an agreement to become custodians of this iconic football club. We're focused on securing the necessary approvals to complete the transaction." The Friedkin Group has agreed a deal in principle to purchase the current owner Mashouri's 94% stake in June, but talks were called off a month later after the two parties failed to finalize an agreement that followed Miami-based 777 Partners being unable to complete a deal earlier this year. Chairman Dan Franchied, who is also owner of the Serie A side in Italy, Roma, has a net worth of £5.7 billion, according to Forbes magazine. In a complex saga surrounding the takeover, the American businessman and Crystal Palace owner John Textor then jumped in for talks but could not complete a deal because Premier League rules prohibit individuals from owning more than one team. Jamaicans Robman Powell and Andre Russell are amongst 18 West Indians who have been contracted to play in the International League, a T20 series in Dubai next year. Powell, the West Indies white ball captain, will play for the Dubai Capitals, while Russell will suit up for the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders. Of the 18 West Indians in the league, 5 of them will be playing for the first time: Shea Hope, Terence Hines, Romario Shepherd, Dominic Drakes, and Ruston Chase. Obed McCoy will join Powell at the Dubai Capitals. Shepherd joins an all-star West Indies contingent at MI Emirates, including Karen Pollard, Akil Hussain, Andre Fletcher, Dwayne Bravo, and Nicholas Pooran. Kemo Paul has been signed by the Sharjah Warriors, who also have St. Lucian Johnson Charles in their ranks. Chase will suit up for the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders alongside Russell, Sunil Narayan, Gouda Keshmoti, and Hines. Drakes will ply his trade with the Gulf Giants featuring Guyanese batter Shimran Hitmar, while Sherfin Rutherford will be one of the overseas players for the Desert Vipers. The third season of the ILT20 kicks off on Saturday, January 11, 2025. The month-long 34-match tournament will culminate with the final on Sunday, February 9 of next year. The Sir Ronnie Flanagan, who has served as the ICC Anti-Corruption Unit ACU independent chair since 2010, has decided to retire at the end of October. The development comes on the heels of the ACU head, Alex Marshall, deciding to retire in November. A highly respected senior cop, Flanagan was the Home Office Chief Inspector of Constabulary for England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and was previously the Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland. He has replaced Lord Paul Condon, who has stepped down in 2010, having served for 10 years as the ACU's inaugural head. It was Condon who had originally set up the ACU after he was appointed by ICC in 2000 with the primary task of cleaning up the growing incidents of match fixing around the time, resulting in the life bans for 3 international captains, Mohamed Azharuddin, Salim Malik, and the late Hansi Cronier. He was also set up guardrails to ensure the sport could ward off corrupt elements. As he was nearing his exit, Condon had warned that T20 cricket, especially domestic franchise cricket, represented the biggest challenge to the integrity of cricket. On Monday, the ICC said in a release they are aiming to put forward their recommendation for the next ACU chair by the quarterly round of meetings in October. And that will do it for sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612 to 5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:19.
If you are 40 and over, CCRP offers a world of benefits. Access to valuable health plans from Sagicor, discounted home and auto insurance from J&GI, and discounts from over 100 retailers and service providers. Enjoy wonderful tours, social events, and much more. Visit our website, ccrponline.org for details. CCRP, life to the fullest.
Yes, Kemlani Mart is making deals.
Really? Deals like what?
On scratch, dented, new furniture and appliances.
Oh, that's great.
And that's not all. Kemlani Mart has tiles, toilets, doors at crazy low prices.
So I can make a deal on a sofa set?
Of course, and dining room sets, outdoor furniture, ACs and more. No reasonable offer will be refused.
Only at Kemlani Mart, Manor Center and 77 King Street.
I love this place, you see.
Make lasting impressions. Register now for the Make Your Mark Business and Personal Etiquette Conference set for October 30 at the Jamaica Pegasus. Sponsored by Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Monographic Printers, JPS, Nationwide News Network, Supply County, Jamaica Boilers Group, From Thought to Finish, Intelligent Multimedia Limited, Visual Tech Solutions, the Jamaica Observer, and Main Event Group. Come make your mark and attend the Business and Personal Etiquette Conference October 30. Call 876-978-6001 or visit www.makeyourmarkgroup.com now to register.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters. The go the extra milers, and let's do it until it works. Workers. People who are powerful because they power through day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power, it's not something you can buy or collect. It is something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snack Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify, and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Special good evening to our YouTubers, yeah? Feel free to weigh in on today's Public Opinion. So, today's Public Opinion, yeah? It's based off of the first results that we revealed from the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. Now, if you recall this morning's newscast, we revealed that based on these polls, 44% of people say the country is headed in the wrong direction under the Holness administration. And there were even signs based on these results that even labor rights are starting to waver. Among Jamaicans who identify as JLP supporters, the Blue Dot pollsters found a 4 percentage point increase in those who say the country is headed in the wrong direction under their party's stewardship. The labor rights pessimism grew from 16% in February 2024 to 20% here in September. There's also been a 3 percentage point dip among laborites who believe Jamaica is on the right track, moving from 60% in February 2024 to only 57% in September, right? Respondents who identified themselves as supporters of the opposition PNP continue to express significant pessimism about the direction of the country, with 68% of those respondents saying, yeah, Jamaica is heading in the wrong direction. So, with these stats fresh in your mind, we ask you, the public, what's your reaction to 44% of Jamaicans saying the country is in it's going in the wrong direction? So let's take a look at what we have here. We have quite a number of responses, 57 on Instagram to be exact. Right, so we start off with Vin Shell, who says, my question would be to all those 44% of people, what direction would you want the country to go in, and what is your contribution to making that happen? So they've answered the question with a questioner, right? Let's keep going. HM Queen Bromley says, it's an alarming number. Are these people employed? What's the poll demographics? What's their background? What's the mindset of these responses? All right, what else we have? Yankee British FNF says, the road them needs special attention. Young people can't find any job because the call center them full up. Fitzroy MO8 says, when was ever a time when the country was heading in the right direction? Facey Michael says, there's a lot going on for Jamaica. It's not where we want to be, but we are on a good path. Crime will always be an issue, but there are lots of developments going on. More jobs, hospitals, police stations, fire stations, buildings being renovated. 100 buses and another 100 more to come. Garbage trucks, more hotels, building, the list goes on and on. So how comes the country is going in a wrong direction? King Fixit says 44% of Jamaicans who want the country to go downhill instead of uphill. I see infrastructure, roads, highways, increased salaries, highways, you said highways twice, bypass, hospitals and clinics, and before that, all I heard is we are poor and we love the poor. Alrighty, so that's what we have so far on Instagram. We're gonna move on over to X, formerly known as Twitter, to see what those folks are saying. Scrolling, I'm about to find it right here. Alright, we got 35 responses here on X. So we kicked this off with Andre Lawrence, who says, it's evident that 44% of participants don't represent the vast majority of well-thinking Jamaicans, and also lacks clarity in their thinking. To reach this conclusion, one would have to be deliberately ignoring our past to believe that Jamaica is not progressing in the right direction. Robinson's asking me, did you ask them what the right direction looks like? All right. Chirpy says 44% is very encouraging. In light of present circumstances surrounding the timing of the poll to coincide with the frustrations arising from Beryl and the fiasco at JPS, coupled with the demands of back to school, things could have been a lot worse. Hardships are there, but ... All right. Trepure. I can't pronounce that. It looks French to me. I'm not built to pronounce this, I fear. Polling a few weeks after a hurricane with people not yet recovered. Some just got back power after weeks. Food prices are soaring due to the hurricane. 44% is not that bad, actually, with all things considered. Sphinx KG says that means 56% of Jamaicans say the country's going in the right direction. Not necessarily. Yeah, because that would assume that it was either a yes or no question. I don't have the options in front of me. So I can't say for certain that just because 44% say it's bad means everybody else polled says it's good. That's not how it works. There could have been a third. I haven't seen the poll, so I can't say. But this that I just read is not necessarily accurate because the amount of options still play a role. Because if we have an option that says, I don't know, and let's say 30% of people choose that, then we have another option that says, yes, the country is going in the right direction, and only like 20% of people say that, then it would still be majority thinking that country's going in a wrong direction. So that's just me trying to explain that further for who was this Sphinx KG, right? All right, we keep going. Paul Mulling says, who are these 44%? They keep track of the economy when this country is going in the right direction from 2016. The country is going... I don't understand what the rest of this part is saying. Wrote it kind of weird, but... All right, Brazil King says, I don't think most Jamaicans think that way. We have come a far way in the past few years. All right, I guess we can go over to Facebook now, and then after that, we can check what the YouTubers are saying. All right, here we are. Facebook, talk to me. What's your reaction to 44% of Jamaicans saying, yeah, country's not heading in the direction I want it to. It's going backwards. The country's going backwards. Let's see. 96 comments, Wow, today's festive. All right. Nikki Becky says, if the country as it is now is going in the wrong direction, then it has never, ever been in the right direction at any point. Douglas Rogers says, if some persons are not getting money pushed into their hands freely, or won't manage the money that they work for, then they think something is wrong. Right? What else we have here? Isaac Morrison says there are persons who pretend to be independent, but they are not. What else we have here? The wrong direction is no new taxes for the past 7 years, 100 new buses, free entry into heart, 4 new hospitals that are being built. I could go on, but time would not allow me. Donovan Ewart says those persons are looking in the wrong direction and they are looking for handouts. Clunis McRae says no new tax, no borrowing, money in the kitty just to name a few. What is wrong about this direction? All right. Kirk Enriquez says, has there ever been a time in our history when the polls say the country is moving in the right direction in either Jamaica or America? All right, folks. So just to give me enough time to go through the YouTubers, let me cut that off from here. And let's see what the YouTubers are saying. Hopefully I have enough time to put this on real quick. Hopefully I have enough, ouch. Hopefully I have enough time to go through the YouTubers' comments. It's taking a while to load. Here we go. A lot of people spamming right direction, particularly Pauline Taylor. Pauline Taylor says we are going in the right direction. That means Pauline Taylor is not one of the 44%. Angie Favorable 1097 says that as well. While I was reading earlier, I saw somebody call me Mahirishi again. So I guess that's just a name that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my time here at Nationwide. Juliet Sanchez says, Mahiri, the people think the country is going in the wrong direction because of the PNP action trying to destabilize Jamaica. They weren't thinking that JLP is leading JA in the wrong directions. All right, Juliet. Precious Soul says the country is going in the right direction. What else we got here? Nadine Dockery says they need to say the reason why the country is going in the wrong direction. If this is the wrong direction, I don't know what the right direction is. Opal Omfroy says right direction. Willow Will says right direction. Again, lots of YouTubers are in the chat right now and they're spamming right direction. Dorian Lewis is another one. Shelly Clark is another one. Davian Paddy is another one. Ozra Walker says those people don't want to work. They want handouts. So I'm yet to see anybody in the comments come to the defense of the 44%. It seems as though the consensus is that the 44% are wrong. Could it be? Is there anyone here that thinks otherwise? Because it seems to be a unanimous YouTube chat here. Everyone here is saying that, yes, the country is indeed going in the right direction and that these YouTubers are not part of the 44% cohort. Yeah? Baby Toy says, how blind are you? You can see that the country is going in the right direction. All right, what else we have here? That's it? All right, man, that's it. Public opinion complete for Monday, September 23, 2023. Fun times, man. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you like it right now as we transition in to the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. You're tuned into the business report here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Now, the US is planning to ban certain hardware and software made in China and Russia from cars, trucks, and buses in the US due to security risks. Officials said they were worried that the technology in question, used for autonomous driving and to connect cars to other networks, could allow enemies to remotely manipulate cars on American roads. There is currently minimal use of Chinese or Russia-made software in American cars, but Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said the plans were targeted, proactive steps to protect the U.S. Chinese officials said the U.S. was broadening the concept of national security to unfairly target Chinese firms. Spokesperson for China's foreign ministry, Lin Zhang, says China opposes the U.S.'s broadening of the concept of national security and the discriminatory actions taken against Chinese companies and products. And Boeing said Monday it has raised its offer to the International Association of Machinists Union to end the strike by 33,000 union members that has now entered its 11th day. This new offer would give members a 30% raise over the 4-year life of the contract, including an immediate 12% raise up from the 25% in overall raises and an immediate 11% raise that membership voted almost unanimously against on September 12, just before walking off the job at Boeing plants on the West Coast. The new offer also doubled a signing bonus to $6,000 and increased the money that Boeing would contribute to $401,000. Plans of union members to match contributions they make themselves. But it did not restore the traditional pension plan that union members lost 10 years ago in a previous labor agreement. The strike, which has brought production of commercial jets to a near halt, is the first at the troubled aircraft maker in 16 years. Despite its many problems, including the loss of more than $33 billion over the last 5 years, Boeing is still a major force in U.S. manufacturing and vital to America's transportation system. And finally, in the currency markets, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 71 cents to buy $1. It cost 209 Jamaican dollars and 77 cents to buy £1 and it costs 115 Jamaican dollars and 8 cents to buy $1 Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Stay tuned for more.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Discover the magic of the Mona Library during Library Open Week 2024. Help celebrate with faculty members and students during this signature event, Celebration of Books, which will showcase scholarships coming out of the Mona campus. Discover cutting-edge digital tools that will enhance your professional development skills through their e-resource fair. Come on out, connect, unlock new opportunities, and dive into the world of knowledge. Discover, learn, succeed. October 13 to 17, 2024 at the Mona Library.
Attention motorists. It's time to switch to the T-Tag on Highway 2000 East-West. Automated T-Tag lanes reduce the cost of collecting and managing cash at our toll plazas, and drivers of Class 1 and Class 2 vehicles who use the T-Tag pay a lower toll fare than those who use the manually operated toll booths. These motorists also get their 10th trip through any one toll plaza free. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience.
Tie your laces, put on something purple, and support the CIBC Caribbean Walk for the Cure. Join us at Hope Gardens on Sunday, October 6th at 6 a.m. We're walking, running, and moving in the fight against cancer. Sign up today at runningeventsja.com. Registration fee $3,000 includes your Walk for the Cure t-shirt while supplies last. CIBC Walk for the Cure, Sunday, October 6th, 6 a.m. at Hope Gardens. All proceeds in aid of the Jamaica Cancer Society.
The latest results from the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools are in.
What do the results say about Holness's standings as Prime Minister?
What do they say about the popularity of the JLP?
What do they say about Mark Golding and the PNP? Listen daily to our major newscasts for the details, and then join us for a special edition of Nationwide at 5 on Friday, September 27, when we reveal which party the majority of registered voters would choose at the next general election.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls are powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boy Ting.
As we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibes.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger too.
Ow.
The highly anticipated event for investors is back. That's right. The Sterling Investor Briefing is set for September 24, 2024 at the AC Hotel in Kingston. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on Nationwide 90 FM from 6 to 8 p.m. as we help them to highlight the company's performance, market update, and macroeconomic topics. The conference will feature a lineup of prominent panelists such as Charles Ross, Henry Mooney, and Keith Collister. You don't want to miss this one. So tune in to Nationwide at 5 on September 24 from 6 to 8 p.m. The Sterling Investor Briefing is back. Tune in for all the updates and highlights. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Sterling Asset Management.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
You have been asking for justice. Well, get justice. The Ministry of Justice presents Get Justice, a program focused on giving Jamaicans information on how to resolve their conflicts and access justice services. The series will highlight the justice services of the ministry, to include social justice, estate planning, legal aid, and expungement. Join the discussion by calling 876-630-93714 or participate via their social media pages at MOJOfficialJM on X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Get Justice with the Ministry of Justice every Thursday at 11 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Ministry of Justice, come access quality service.
MOJ taking
justice to the people of Jamaica.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here nationwide at 5. It's 17 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. I'm Cliff Hughes.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And we're going to go now to the nation's business, and we continue to focus on the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. This morning, earlier today, you may have missed it, crime, corruption, and the cost of living were the top 3 concerns affecting Jamaicans. The poll was conducted between September 6 and 19. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 3%. Ricardo Brooks has more.
It's perhaps a coincidence that the concerns all start with the letter C. But these 3 issues occupy the minds of Jamaicans when they go to bed at night: crime, corruption, and the cost of living. The Blue Dot pollsters asked 1,246 Jamaicans to rank their present concerns. Crime was number 1. While the issue has consistently topped the list of concerns, there's been a 10 percentage point increase in the number of Jamaicans who highlight it as their top issue, moving from 29% in February 2024 to 39% in September. Corruption follows crime. The issue was highlighted as the second most prominent concern for Jamaicans, jumping from 4th in the rankings in February 2024 to 2nd in September. 15% of respondents identified it as their second most pressing concern. This is compared to 11% in February. That's a swing of 4 percentage points. It's also the first time since 2021 that corruption has featured among the top 2 concerns for Jamaicans. By the pollsters' reasonings, the findings suggests an increase in a loss of trust in the leadership of the country and official institutions. The opposition PMP will no doubt welcome this finding as evidence that its message that the Holness government is the most corrupt in the country's history may be starting to resonate. The opposition has consistently argued the time has come to turn the page on what they allege is poor governance and rampant corruption. Rounding out the top 3 concerns for Jamaicans is the cost of living. It's the first time since September 2022 that the cost of living has not ranked as the second most pressing issue for Jamaicans. There's been a 1 percentage point decline in the number of Jamaicans who flagged cost of living as their concern, falling from 15% in February 2024 to 14% in September. The pollsters found that 8 in 10 Jamaicans are concerned about cost of living, with 2 in every 3 respondents expressing extreme concern. There's been a 4 percentage point increase in the number of PMP supporters, 63%, who indicate they're concerned about their personal financial situation, and a 5 percentage point increase, 49%, in the number of JLP supporters expressing a similar concern. Unemployment and jobs comes in 4th on the list of concerns plaguing Jamaicans. It has fallen out of the top 3 when compared to the February 2024 poll findings. It suggests some improvement in the perception of job availability. 9% of Jamaicans continue to identify it as a pressing concern. This is down from 12% in February. The list is rounded out with concerns related to healthcare, governance and leadership, the economy, and education.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News. Should I say thank you, Ricardo?
Thank you, Ricardo.
Okay. So we're going to start this evening's conversation by focusing on the issue of crime. There's been a 10 percentage point increase in the number of Jamaicans who highlight it as their top issue, moving from 29% in February this year to 39% this month. To weigh in on the numbers, we have security expert and UWI professor of sustainable development, Professor Anthony Clayton. Good evening, Professor.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Cliff. How
Good
are
evening.
you both?
Doing well. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Professor, in all the years that you've been studying this issue of crime and security, have you found that a movement in the numbers in terms of people feeling more insecure or less secure, that affects how they vote?
Not very significantly, no. It's one of these things like high levels of corruption that tends to be factored in to people's decision making when they're deciding who to vote for. One of the more alarming trends is that the number of people who actually vote is continuing to decline. So now the great majority of the population, about 2/3, simply don't vote at all. And there is some evidence that this is because people have become so disillusioned, so cynical, and so disaffected, and they don't believe that either party is going to be the one to deal with crime and corruption. I hope, of course, that they are wrong, and that one day we will get a party elected that is serious about addressing these issues. But until such time as a political party doesn't just talk the talk, but actually delivers, then people, I think, are understandably extremely disaffected about politics. I think what we need above all is a party that demonstrates that it is serious about eradicating corruption, because it's always been easier to get action when it comes to street crime than it is on corruption. Because, in fact, as we have seen recently, the corruption and the allegations of corruption go right to the top of our political system. So to demonstrate that we are really going to leave this horrible problem behind us once and for all, we need a party that is going to take the issue of corruption seriously, first and foremost, and is going to say something like, any member of parliament, any politician who is found to be guilty of corruption is going to be expelled from the party. No argument. End of story. We need to get such people out of public life, and until we have political parties that are willing to do that, we will always be struggling with the problems that we've got.
But what is the incentive, Professor, for the parties to address the issue head on if, as you say, it doesn't really move the needle in terms of a party's electoral prospects or success?
Well, I don't think it would move the needle in terms of the 1/3 of the electorate who are still voting. But I think there is everything to play for. If you can persuade the people that for once we have a party that is serious about cleaning up public life, then that party, I think, will take a major part of the 2/3 who do not vote at all.
So the middle classes and the middling classes
who wish this country well and who want to see this country develop. And if they are offered hope, then I think they would vote for the party that offers them hope. We've seen that before in other countries. If you see what Governor Pizarro did in the state of Rio, if you see what Bukele has done in El Salvador, the people who are serious about addressing crime are the ones who then win the subsequent elections.
Professor, the data from the constabulary force consistently says major crimes, in particular rapes, break-ins, murders, are down for going 2 years now. Yes? But we're not seeing that reflected at all in the polls. These findings. In fact, the incidence of persons saying that, listen, it is getting worse, is going up. It's jumped.
No. That's a misperception, because we are seeing a decline in the level of homicides and other forms of serious crime. We've seen a fall of about 11% in homicide in the first half of this year compared to the same period in last year. But now you have to look at the numbers. That's 74 fewer homicides. But that barely moves the needle. We live in a country which has got one of the highest levels of homicide in the world. So even a 10% decline means that we barely move. We're still one of the countries with the highest homicide rate in the world. So it's not entirely surprising that people believe that the level of crime is still high. It is. It is still exceptionally high. It's going to have to come down by significantly more than 10% before people really see this and believe it.
Yeah.
It's going to, if our level of crime came down by something like 80 or 90%, that would put us back into close to world average homicide level. But that's the kind of distance that we're going to have to make up. We're an extreme outlier, one of the most violent countries in the world, and so it would need a very substantial and sustained reduction in the level of serious crime before we were back in the level of even close to world average.
And significant reductions in the order of what? 50, 60% before people can say, well...
actually, even more.
Wow.
Now, we would have to get down to about 10% of what we are now before we were again close to the United States, for example. Our homicide rate at the moment is approximately 10 times higher. So it's not just getting down by 10%. We've got a much greater distance to make up. It's to be welcomed. I mean, please don't misunderstand. A decline of 10 or 11% is infinitely better than no decline. It's much better than the number actually going in the wrong direction. But it's simply a measure of how far we have still got to go.
Yeah. And then the question for the policymakers, what do we do? You mentioned El Salvador, but certainly you wouldn't commend the El Salvador model to us, would you?
There's a very high price that you have to pay if you go down that road. Because what they did in El Salvador was that they locked up every gang member and every alleged gang member. Now, one of the things that actually made it possible for them to do that in El Salvador is that almost all the gang members have identifying tattoos. They wear their gang insignia tattooed into their skin. Our gang members tend not to do that, which means that most of the people you'd be looking up would be on the basis of evidence, which in some cases would be extremely slight. And that means that we would be effectively foregoing a lot of the human rights safeguards that we have put in place over the decades, and that would be a very, very high price to pay. Now, if you're going to go down that road, you also have to ask yourself, what is the level of trust in the political directorate?
We don't have that.
And at the moment, of course, that's also now looking very much in question.
Yeah, we don't have that level of capacity or goodwill and trust, as you say, for any administration to contemplate that.
No.
Yeah?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Every opinion poll shows that politicians are pretty much the least trusted group in society. And so it's simply, we cannot ask people to say, well, a politician can't say, trust me, I will only lock up bad people.
Yes.
Nobody would believe. They'd have no credibility at all. So the El Salvador option is not open to us.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen.
Professor Anthony Clayton, Professor of Sustainable Development and security expert at the University of the West Indies.
For more perspectives now, we're joined by public commentator Jermaine Barrett, public commentator Clyde Williams, and we also have with us public commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to your listeners.
Good evening.
Love.
Let me start with you, Clyde Williams. Crime, corruption, cost of living, in that order, ranked by Jamaicans as their top concerns. What do you make of the finding?
Well, those are the things that touch and concern Jamaicans daily. So that's going to come out on the top. Insecurity of your person. The question of when you go to the supermarket, what your bill look like. And corruption. Now, I've looked at the numbers and I've carefully looked at them. 2022, you heard mention of 2021 was the last time on one of the numbers that were given earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2022, there has been a shift in relation to the public perception of the JLP's handling of some of these significant issues.
Mm-hmm.
2021 was the last time they had a favorable rate. It was said earlier, but since 2022, 2023, 2024, and that's coincided with what the local government national polling results look like. So what I find interesting is if the JLP consistently exists in an echo chamber, as political parties are wont to do, they're in power now, so the spotlight is on them, so people need to understand that. Nobody puts the spotlight on the opposition. It doesn't happen that way in real society. If they continue to be in the echo chamber, they won't see and hear what the people are feeling. These things have been said by the common man for years now. By the common man.
Hold it there for us, Clyde. Let me just take a time signal because I want to hear more about that echo chamber you think the government is operating in.
Choose your life insurance coverage, apply, and pay online. Live the e-life with Sagicor Life. The time by Sagicor Life is...
It's 7 o'clock. Crime, corruption, and the cost of living. Those are the three top issues identified by Jamaicans as they assess the state of their lives under the Wholeness Administration. We have with us Jermaine Barrett, Clyde Williams, and Kevin O'Brien Chang. Just before the break, Clyde made the point that he thought perhaps the government was operating in an echo chamber. So not really listening essentially to the people, you're saying, Clyde?
No, they're listening to backslappers. And people who pucker up, brown noses. That's who they're listening to. And let me give an example. You recall the 2020, probably it was a 50 one-day match where they lined up to flay into the Integrity Commission. You recall that. Parliamentarians from the majority party lined up in the Senate and in the House to flay at the Integrity Commission. Well, here Jamaicans are saying that what you're doing, if it's weak, we need to sort that out. But corruption is number two. And crime, security of the person, and just being able to live, cost of living. And they keep saying GDP. Those things are not what people vote on. People vote with their pockets. People vote with their lives, their sense of security, and whether the politician them are thief.
Yes. And Jermaine Barrett, if we talk about moving outside of that echo chamber or beyond the base, let me put it that way, beyond the base, what incentive do the political parties have to do that if beyond the base we find people who they're not really interested, they're not really coming out to vote, they're not really reliable voters? The politicians might say to you, I'm playing to the gallery that I know will turn up when that election is called.
You know, Ricardo, for any political party to really get into the spaces where the people live, into the grime, into the challenging experiences of the people, we have to undertake some radical reforms to the system of government. And what do I mean by that? The system where we have, for example, a member of parliament oftentimes many of them sit in the cabinet, and so they have hefty burdens to bear as cabinet ministers. They are legislators, and they even the backbench ones are oftentimes finding themselves in spaces within their very constituency, surrounded by cheering, fans, adoring fans, making them feel as though they are doing a good job. I think that kind of insulation that exists within the politics is not helpful in terms of breaking down that echo chamber that Clive speaks about. I think what we need to have, for example, I personally admire the system of the United States, as defective as it is in many respects, a system where your representative is the representative who goes and legislates on your behalf. And, there's somebody on the ground, like a councillor, for example, who is feeling the heartbeat of the people and understanding the pulse of the people. And, of course, your cabinet is made of technocrats who really are about administering the business and the affairs of the country, but aren't necessarily burdened by, what's happening in Mass Tom's yard or Miss Mary's backyard or something like that. You understand? So I think until we make those kinds of surgical changes to our political administration, the Westminster model, and adopt a model where people are connected to political representatives are connected to the people more closely, then that echo chamber which Clive speaks about will persist for some time to come.
But is it a matter of the system or a matter of perception gone wrong? Because on the crime front, the numbers are headed in the right direction. Yes, we want it to go there faster, but it's headed there. The matter of corruption, nobody has been found guilty. Nobody has been referred in any substantive way for any kind of criminal conduct, but the perception lingers. Yeah, and on the cost of living, the labor rights say, well, it's really a problem the world over. So not something you should lay at the government's feet solely. So how, even if we uproot the system, how do we manage people's perception that they want things and they want it now?
A part of the challenge, Ricardo, is that people know the political elite in this country. They sit in their Eiffel Towers, oftentimes be it at cabinet or wherever they meet, and they wax lyrical to each other, sort of reinforcing the narrative that we are doing good. Look, the macroeconomic indicators are trending in the right direction. Look, we've paved record number of roads, we've made record numbers of jobs, or created record numbers of jobs, and all of these things. And so, at some point in time, it's like they're fooling themselves. What is the narrative being communicated on the streets, at people's dinner table, when it is that people can't find meals? That kind of reality is not being appreciated, not to a great enough extent, by politicians who are saying, well, we're doing things, the macroeconomic indicators are trending in the right direction. So there's that disconnect. And I don't know, I think, again, by one solution, it doesn't provide perfect solvency, but I certainly think it would get us a far way along the path towards establishing greater connection with the people and the people's concerns being more represented within the seat of government.
Kevin O'Brien Chang, your perspective on the findings?
Cliff, I don't wish to make anyone feel I'm insulting anybody, but I am stunned, especially on crime. I'm stunned at the lack of how uninformed this discussion is, even with Professor Clayton. The JHCI put out statistics today. January 1st, September 21, 265 days of the year, right? Murders are down 17%, rapes are down 31%, major crimes down 14%. Murders are down 17%. Professor Clayton is quoting 11% in June. This is September. Murders are down 171 murders. Murders are down 8% last year. We are on trend if we continue to have 1,160 murders about this year, the lowest number of murders in 2014. And here are people moaning and groaning, crime will kill us, crime will kill us. We are having significant successes of cutting crime. The lowest crime number in 10 years must be something significant. You can't brush it away and know nothing. That's ridiculous.
No, but
I blame nobody else for the perception that crime is going to get worse but the media.
But isn't that the problem?
To put these numbers out there, I'm listening to the discussion for 20 minutes. Nobody is mentioning this.
But Kevin, isn't that
Right?
the very problem Clyde is talking about?
Said,
Because now you're gonna yell at the people. You're gonna yell at the people who don't feel safe with statistics.
Yeah. Permit me. That data is incorrect. Let me give you what the date. Let me give you the published data by the Economic Survey of Jamaica. In 2023, please, Kevin, we have to speak on the basis of what facts are. In 2023, there were 1394 homicides in Jamaica.
Correct.
That was down from 2022, where there was 1508, 1,508 in 2022. And that, Kevin, that number was in 2021, it was 1463 murders.
Hold on, Kevin.
Then it went up to 1508.
Where are we now?
Please, that's come down. What I'm saying to you, don't come and say to the nation that people's perception must be disregarded and we must ignore what the numbers are. The best crime numbers, sorry, the lowest.
Hold on, Kevin. Kevin, I will come back to you in a second.
Hold on, Clyde. Hold on. Kevin, please. This is Kevin. We are having a discussion. Yeah, if we're going to shout, hold on, if we're going to shout over each other, we can end it now because that won't be useful.
Okay, can I look at
so hold on, Kevin. Clyde, hold on, Kevin. The rules are we don't shout over each other. We have had, we gave you a run. It is, hold on, Kevin.
Can we look at the current?
Kevin.
Yes, we're going to look at it. Just hold on, Kevin.
Allow Clyde to complete his point. Go ahead, Clyde.
I'm making a simple point, and that has to do with data. The lowest homicide numbers we had in Jamaica over the last near 40 or so years were the homicide numbers in the post-2010 Tivoli incursion. Those are the lowest numbers we had in the history of the last 30 or so 40 years.
That's not so.
So all I'm saying to you is this.
Kevin,
do not, please, I'm going to finish
Kevin,
my point.
you cannot continue to interrupt him. Please. Go ahead, Clyde.
As I understand it, we are here discussing the views and perceptions of Jamaicans. And that's what I've been here to discuss. I'm not discussing whether or not there's been marginal improvement over last year and so forth. We're discussing how people are feeling. And I would really appreciate if we keep that discussion. Don't have these little remarks about the level of the conversation so far. Otherwise, I will come back on the program with you, Kevin. Don't do that.
Okay, that's Clyde. Kevin, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, the lowest rate of murder in the last 22 years is 976 in 2003. Okay? Let's get that clear. I have the stats in front of me. Now, murders are down 17% this year. They were down 8% last year. That's a 25% decline over 2 years. If the current rate stands up, we will have about 1,160 murders. That will be the lowest number since 2014. The lowest murdered count in 10 years. And here people talking slight declines and brushing it away. And I find it incredible that the media does not want to focus on what is happening now. They want to go back. I don't know why. The media refuses to accept crime is falling significantly in Jamaica. It's
Kevin.
astonishing to me. I don't understand.
Kevin.
The numbers are very clear.
I have to defend my colleagues.
May I? Hold on. Allow Kevin to finish. Kevin?
And as I said, I cannot understand when crime is going up, it is headlines constantly. It is falling significantly now. We're heading for a 10-year low, and the media refuses to publicize this. Media, they want to go back to 2021. I don't know why. Why is the media not willing to say crime in Jamaica is falling significantly, and we should try to understand why it is falling so we can continue to make it fall. I just cannot understand the attitude of our media.
If I could separate those two things, because I can speak for this media house. I know that whenever the JCF puts out statistics about the state of crimes, especially murders, whether it's up or down, this media house reports it. So I can say that definitively. But the substantive point I understand Clyde to be making is that you cannot, in people's perception of insecurity, simply reel off statistical data to them and say to them, you must now feel secure. I understand him to be saying, I understand.
A polite question.
In a second.
The media does not inform the public that murders are
But I just answered
How
that.
is the public supposed to find out?
No, but I just answered that. I don't. When you say the media broadly, I don't know.
Your media house apart, but I see other media houses.
Yes.
And I don't see them talking about the fall in crime at all.
All right. So I can't answer for that.
Are we gonna stay on subject?
So I want to the substantive.
I am not going to sit here and listen to Kevin if we're not staying on subject.
Kevin,
if he stays on subject, I have no problem. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to
Clyde, please. We are the arbitrators here, not you, please.
But the substantive point, Kevin, that people's perception of security is poor.
Hold on, Kevin, because clearly you didn't hear Professor Clayton. Professor Clayton said, hold on, Kevin. Professor Clayton made the point that even if we have a 50% reduction, people will still feel insecure and unsafe because our homicide rate has been exceptionally high. So if you come down to 10%, you come down, not unless, Kevin, you must not reside in that echo chamber. Even if you come down, to 50%, 60%, because it is so goddamn high. Yeah? People are still...
Yes, we accept that. We have conceded that and reported it. And I think Clyde accepted that as well.
Of course. I hope the Labour Party don't listen to people like Kevin because they're certainly going to lose the election. If they listen to Kevin to decide and not to the polls.
Yes.
They listen to Kevin and not to the polls. Remember me tell you this. Mark it here today.
Let's hear Jermaine.
They better listen to the polls.
Jermaine, how you see it?
I think we have to be realistic. The media is not as powerful a force in the social landscape of the country as we would want for it to be. And when I say media, traditional media like radio and television, lots of persons are getting their information from social media. When, for example, social media is an unbridled, unmanageable sort of force of information. When it is that nationwide or any media platform, for example, comes out and gives the statistic that crime is down by 11 or however many percentage, and people are seeing the graphic data, the graphic information, bombarding their minds about the kinds of crimes that are happening all around them, and that is the source from which they're getting a lot of their information. Of course, the media, being as diminished as it is continuously, traditional media, is not going to be having the impact, even if it is that it's doing its job. So we have to be concerned about that as well, the impact of traditional media in the landscape. So I think Kevin is sort of articulating a view that is not particularly relevant now, given the less than relevant sort of standing that traditional media holds in the public.
Who is the statistics in Jamaica?
What's that?
Who is supposed to tell the country that murders are down 17% this year?
Do you think those statistics would comfort people, Kevin? If around them gunshot fire, people are dead, they must step over dead body for go to work.
17% decline, but then a 70% increase. Of course,
absolutely, but focus on the question I'm asking you, Kevin. Focus on the question I'm asking you. Simply telling them that number.
You can't look at the isolated incident. You have to look at the overall trend That's how.
But Kevin, people's lived reality is people's lived reality is what they see every day.
Are we discussing the poll of the opinions of Jamaicans? Or is it that Kevin has a platform to speak?
No. Don't say that, Clyde.
Let's discuss the polls.
No, Clyde. Don't do that.
70% murder decline if the mainstream media does not tell them. How? By magic?
Let me explain something to Kevin that he may not understand. The data we have is what we call reported data. Many people in community know of things that are not reported. Those unreported things add up as well as to what they hear happening elsewhere. Hence their opinion. Data doesn't change anybody's opinion until the substantial time after, where they begin themselves to feel safe. These are sociological human beings. These are not automatons that the data is putting on the program and the change are not. So you have to be a little bit more sensitive to people and their perceptions, because if you're not communicating with them. They're not going to listen to what you have to say. Because I must confess, I've exercised what the patience that lawyers have to have when we're retained to sit here with you today. I must tell you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Kevin O'Brien Chang, Clyde Williams, Jermaine Barrett. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
love.
Good. This is Nationwide at 5.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Vision 2030, Jamaica overpromises and underdelivers. Jamaica? No problem, man. That's a lie. A damn lie. Not even the most optimistic soul living here on the so-called rock could fool him or herself to believe this lie for a second. The seemingly unsolvable murder problem says it is a lie. The intractable economic problem says it is a lie. Let's examine two recent events that have been like a punch to the gut, killing any hope that Jamaica will achieve the prosperity promised by this line from its national pledge. So that Jamaica under God may increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity. The first hope-destroying event is the decision by the Minister of Finance of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, which came to power on a promise of prosperity. The decision by the minister to jump ship midstream for safer harbor by taking a cushy job as Deputy Managing Director with the lender of last resort, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The second event, which should be getting more coverage than Nigel Clarke's personal decision made in his own career and self-interest, is the news coming out of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the PIOJ, that Jamaica's Vision 2030 is not achievable in the given time frame. Not only that it won't be achieved, but that it was a lie that only a fool should have believed. Listen to the skillful and crafty wordsmithing by PIOJ Program Director of Vision 2030, Paisha Brian Lee, in making the announcement. I quote her from press reports. It is fair to say that Vision 2030 Jamaica continues to be the guiding framework for the country and has provided, I think, a measure of stability in terms of how we look at our development process and pathway. However, our data does suggest that the goals and outcomes, and particularly, I would say, the targets that were benchmarked against developed country status standards, most likely will not be achieved by 2030. End of quote by PIOJ Vision 2030 Program Director. Fortunately, a large number, maybe the majority of you listening to this commentary, have never heard of Vision 2030 Jamaica. Crafted in 2009, it's Jamaica's first comprehensive long-term development plan with this compelling promise. Jamaica, the place of choice to live, work, and raise families and do business by 2030. The plan rests on 4 national goals, namely, 1, Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. 2, the Jamaican society is secure, cohesive, and just. 3, Jamaica's economy is prosperous. And 4, Jamaica has a healthy natural environment. According to the PIOJ spokesperson, and I again quote her, the intention was not to be stuck on a timeline for Jamaica to achieve developed world status. End of quote. What is a plan without meaningful targets and especially a timeline? It's nothing more than an aspirational statement. Fool's gold that promises much but delivers little against expectations. A palliative that relieves symptoms without curing the underlying causes of the condition. The framers and implementers of Vision 2030 Jamaica fooled Jamaica. Worse than that, they failed Jamaica. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
On Sunday, August 11th, in the quiet community of Cherry Tree Lane in Clarendon, our entire nation was shaken by a brutal act of violence.
Gangsters mercilessly took the lives of 8 innocent Jamaicans, including a 7-year-old boy and several women.
These criminals will strike again, destroying more families and more communities unless we stand together to stop them.
If you have any information that can help bring these killers to justice, please share it with the security forces.
The government has established a reward fund of $25 million for information leading to the arrest and charge of the perpetrators who committed this heinous act.
The facilitators who supplied them with arms, intelligence, and transportation.
Those who harbor and protect these criminals after the crime.
If you know something, say something.
Call Crime Stop at 311 MOCA at 888-6622-847.
NIB at 811 or the JDN at 837-8888.
Together, we will defeat the gangs and develop a culture of peace in our country.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
Don't miss Info Exchange's Business Cloud Forum, October 1 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Global technology leaders, Nutanix, IBM, HPE Aruba, Zerto, and Exagrid will be here sharing insights and live demos. Discover how AI is reshaping industries and increasing efficiencies. Learn proven technologies to build operational resilience and protect your business from disruption. Register now at infoexchangeja.com. Info Exchange, smart technology, better business.
Freedom, speed, agility, intelligence, friendship. These are the hallmarks that define the dolphin, the master of the seas, and are the hallmarks that inspire Sterling Asset Management. For over 20 years, we have provided investment products that give our clients financial freedom, and our service is fast, insightful, warm, and genuine. Sterling Asset Management, intelligent investing for the intelligent investor.
29 minutes after 7, you're tuned in to Nationwide at 5. We're on the final stretch now. The numbers to call 630-9371-4, 618-8255. I'm Ricardo Brooks. He's Cliff Hughes. Alric, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, birthday boy.
It was yesterday, right, Alric?
Yesterday. It was yesterday, man. Thanks, guys. 72 yesterday.
Very well. Doing well.
All right. What I wanted to discuss with you this afternoon, I'm glad you and Ricardo are there. I had to throw it through the window because of the heated conversation that those guys had.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo, I sort of agree with you. I hope what I'm going to say is something that will be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin and Brian Chang, Mr. Chang, I think is a little bit out of touch with what us, the people down here on the other side of the street, are facing when it comes to crime. I don't want to say he lives uptown, so he's far away from where the crime is, but Ricardo tried to tell him that the everyday Jamaican walks beside the dead bodies, hear the gunshots, see the reality, see the blood spilling, and it's a chilling factor, and it has a chilling effect on us, including me, who's out here in the country.
Mm.
And for the people in Manchester for the last couple of weeks, it stood out, and you had to be going in by 6 o'clock, you had to be looking over your shoulders. So 10% reduction, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo.
Or let's just say
good,
17.
But 10% is not going to cut it for us.
I think it's about 17 now.
And the fear we feel.
I think it's about 17 now, Alric. 17%. Just 17. To be accurate, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be, it's going down, and it's a good sign. But it needs to go down drastically more so that we can feel safe. You can't stop at a little corner shop and play a game of domino again and have a cold one with your friends because you don't know which side the attack is going. So we're literally living in fear.
Yeah.
And Mr. Kevin has to appreciate that.
And
I think he's a little bit out of touch with what is going on.
And I think that was a point both Professor Clayton and Clyde were trying to make, that yes, the numbers are going down and we welcome that. But people's lived reality, what they see happening around them in their everyday lives, you can't simply throw statistics at them and ask them to ignore that reality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I welcome the 17% reduction.
I welcome it
and
too.
I don't.
Most Jamaicans welcome it.
Right, and I don't face around me the kind of crime I see, I report here and read about. I don't, but I can well imagine those in their communities who they see these things. Cliff mentioned to me just now, for example, Cherry Tree. Mm-hmm. Just imagine the people who live in Cherry Tree. 8 people in your community dead one time by gunmen. That does something to your sense of security. Mm-hmm. It absolutely does.
It drives you scary, Ricardo. Yeah. It lets you tremble every time you walk out and dust is coming down and you're not back home. You start to get paranoid.
Yeah. I understand that. But again, there's a question about, the capacity, and I suppose that's what Kevin was getting at. It's going down, and then there's a question about the capacity of the police to be everywhere all at once. But I just don't want people to just dismiss people's lived reality, which I think is what we're seeing in the polling data.
I understand that, guys, but some of us, we got to come down to the level where you see what's going on every day around us. So, have a good evening, guys.
All right.
I'll continue listening. And what I want to discuss, I'll try and do it tomorrow night because there was something I wanted you and Cliff to clear up for me that I'm not understanding with the Integrity Commission.
All right, perhaps tomorrow.
But I'll leave it for tomorrow night.
All right, Alric.
All right.
630-937-124, 618-8255. Hello, Doreen.
Hi, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Evening. Good evening.
I have two little things to say. First, I must say, you remember just when school reopened, there was a deputy or acting principal for one of those schools in the country, and the media was interviewing him, and he had on his painting orange shirt in the school, on the school compound, and school was in session, or school started at that time, and he had on his painting shirt. Nobody said anything about that. All right.
I didn't see that.
I don't remember that. Doreen.
Okay, well, I look on TVJ.
Oh, okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to certain, but I almost certain, if I'm not mistaken, is that acting thing that somebody's on leave, 1 year leave or something like that. I think that's the person, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I didn't see that, and we certainly didn't report.
Secondly, the opposition had said they were going back to their roots, and I don't want to say crime wasn't there, but from the day they had said that, it's like the whole country turned upside down.
Sorry, you said they were going back to their what?
They're going back to their roots.
Roots?
Yeah, their roots.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Them where they coming from. They're going back to the 70s then, if it's, in other words, because they're going back to their roots. What is their roots? In the 70s, what had happened in the 70s? Okay.
I don't know if the roots of the PNP are the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
I don't know if the roots of the PNP exist in the 70s, though.
Yes, sir. Yes,
no,
sir.
The party predates the 70s.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing before you not forget, because I'm old.
Okay.
Jesus, ultimately.
Sorry about that.
I've heard of those things. Peter Bunting had said, when he was the Minister of Security, National Security, he said he cannot manage the crime because only divine intervention can come. Everybody has to call to a divine intervention, and now he has all the answers. And where the divine intervention is in Manchester, where he's going now, where he's campaigning for. He needs to ask the divine intervention to help him. Government and police cannot do this, and we the people have to do it because of we the people, relatives and friends doing all of those things. So you can't say crime is up and you're not doing anything. I mean, people must look into this, and I sincerely hope Jamaicans need to look back at the 70s. I couldn't get nothing to. I had money then. I couldn't get nothing to buy in the 70s. Food is here now. We can buy it, but we can't. We have to monitor with it. And it's not just Jamaica alone. All the countries, the world is a world crisis. The states having the same thing. Canada, every one of the countries overseas having it. Right? My relative sick the other day in the States, and it's nearly almost 11 hours in ER. You understand? So I call it whatever, the urgent care. I mean, and I had to say to them, are you a first world country? All of those things people need to know. And stop make politics turn them in an idiot, or certain people put things in them head.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for your call. Thank you. 23 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. Bobby, good evening.
Good evening, sir, please. Good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening, Bobby.
Good evening.
Yes, I called to speak on the Blue Dot poll finding, but first I want to say something. Fighting crime in Jamaica, the government alone cannot do it. It has to take a collective force. And I strongly have the view that fighting crime must rest slowly in the hands of the security force. Cliff and Ricardo, you go home, and when you go home, you hear, boy, next door. Look, the government don't know, say that's the gunman, or come and jump over your next door neighbor fence at a certain time, and come and kill them off, Right? And if people see and keep their mouth shut, the crime won't solve. Right? And when people keep their mouth closed now, everybody keep their mouth closed, and the crime spiraling out of rocket, you hear them talk about the country is heading in the wrong direction. The Prime Minister not doing anything good, and so on. It cannot rest on the government alone. Yes, it is going down, but if the security force get more cooperation, more intelligence from those who see, remember I tell you, the crime situation would have gone less than what it is now. Straight up, I'm telling you. And I just want to say something on the Blue Dot I'm finding. To me, and I know Cliff, Ricardo, and my good friend Tyrone, I know that you guys won't agree with me, but I'm telling you straight up from the observation point where I stand, because my job takes me around the country. Look here, Blue Dot, get it wrong. Absolutely wrong. You cannot talk about you are doing a sample of 1,000 and odd people out of a population of, say, call it 3 million people. And you think that sample can speak for the majority? No.
All right, let me ask you something.
I suspect you're going to ask what I was going to ask.
How many people live in the United States of America?
Yes, that is a good question. I don't have the...
More than 300 million.
330 million. You know what's the average sampling size of their polls?
No, you tell me.
About 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. What's the size of the Jamaican population?
3
million?
Yes, 3 million.
Yes. And we do our latest poll now, it was done with a sample size of 1,246. I think that should answer your question.
No, there's more to it. The polling sample size, Bobby, is that it takes what they call a representative sample, right? So they sort of sample the population, and the Blue Dot team will explain on Friday again, because they usually do at the end of our presentation of this information, how they come up with a sample. So they sample things like gender in terms of how many women are in the population versus men. You might look at things like education level. You might look at things like
demographic
groupings. Right. So it's a sample of the entire population, and therefore, when you sample that, you can then extrapolate that this is the broad sentiment. That's how polling works. It's a science.
But you see, I just want to say this. You see. When you really look into it, you see, first, you see, where I go on. You know, I know myself and I can vote and things. I've never seen a pollster come in my era yet. Never. Not one ever come and talk to me.
And that's normal.
Right. You see, and I just want to say this. When you look on all the good things that Prime Minister Andrew Holness has done for Jamaica. Since he become Prime Minister, the PATH program go up, right, and more students come on PATH and so on, because I serve on a school board, so I directly can tell you.
So you know what has happened, Bobby? They probably, in the sample, they have a person who calls radio stations in the night and complains that people not paying attention to what the government is doing. So you are represented.
Right, you see, and when you look into it, you see, I have seen the Prime Minister give out houses to people who cannot afford it.
No man. All right.
I have seen more and more buses coming in and so on, and he is steering the economy in the right direction. So I cannot see how is it this 44% is saying the country is going in the wrong direction.
Let me put it
don't see it.
I'll put it in a way before we go to the next call. A gentleman expressed it to me. He said to me, the government I do well in a Ricardo. Now I build up whole heap of highway and I give a whole heap of road. But me no live pan highway.
Yeah.
That's how he put it to me.
He's sleeping.
No, that's it, Bobby. You cannot dismiss it and say he's sleeping. I took the point he was making. That yes, the highway brings development, and you and I know that where roads go, development will follow. And so it's as a medium to long term approach to development. But for that man, he doesn't live on the highway. He probably doesn't drive, so he won't drive on it. And he has other pressing issues that inform how he thinks about the government.
Did you hear the poll results for this evening, Bobby?
No. Actually, I was up by my school, and I reached.
The question this evening was: do you think the JLP administration deserves a third term in office?
They deserve more than a third term, Cliff.
And would you be surprised, since you said the Blue Dot polls are wrong, that the finding was 52% saying yes, they deserve a third term, 48% saying no. Is that wrong as well?
Cliff.
Yes.
Cliff.
Yes.
You know I'm a coach, and trust me, you really slight tackle me there. So.
All
right, Bobby.
Okay then.
All right.
Oh Lord, Carl. Good evening.
Evening, Ricardo.
Evening, Sayo. How are you, Carl?
Good evening.
I'm doing well, man.
Good.
Very well, man. You're there on a long time now. Somebody now has a serious problem in Jamaica. Because if the 60 to 68 people in Jamaica are looking at the government, and the 18 to 25 is looking at the government, and the 27 to 30 is looking at the government, they then deserve another term. Somebody in a problem. You know that to Mr. Hughes. And the reason why I come up with that, Mr. Hughes, all of my years since following politics, careful. That age group of 60 to 68 always belong to the People's National Party. And those
over 55.
Right, that age group. If what the Blue Dot poll found is correct, are then anywhere near to correct, somebody in a problem.
And then the name call.
Serious problem. That those three age groups is what the government needs to take now and spin it and take a good look at those three age groups.
But you see, Carl, and it sort of bears out the point we've been having, the discussion we've been having, because those older voters, we were talking about it in the newsroom just now, coming out of the budget debate, they saw very direct personal benefits.
Ricardo, I want to stop it there. I don't want you go into the politics. Leave that alone.
No, it's not the politics. It's about the policy deliverables, what the government delivered for them.
Deliver in the budget.
Right. So hold on. So I made the point. I made the point to say that obviously when people's personal circumstances, when they, in other words, when they feel directly what government has done, for them, it clearly affects their perception.
All right. I remember one lady called Mr. Hughes some time ago after the budget speech, and her first pension she said she get.
Yeah.
After the lady was so happy with hearing time she talked to Mr. Hughes, and me say okay. So it no surprise we see in the Blue Dot poll find that result. And Mr. Hughes, you have some people get up for almost 3.5 years, and all them did I talk about was Andrew decoration. Andrew decoration. Andrew decoration come now, and then can't find nothing to shoot him. And then reach to lying business now. If you should talk about lying, what would you say about Mr. Golden? We'd have to ask Mr. Knight to describe him. You'd have to ask Mr. Knight to describe him. And when I next thing again, I'm going to be very fair. The People's National Party put on a very good show last week, Sunday.
Try and make sure say your crowd begin in November, you know.
Hello?
Try and make sure say your crowd begin in November.
No, man. I don't know if you are going to you're going to have to stop out of AC hotel and park and walk come in.
You better make sure say your crowd big and that me
You remember the last one we keep there? People couldn't even reach stadium. So you no matter about and I crowd if you watch it, sales if you watch. Always watch it sales. And then get them put on a good show 2 Sundays ago. But in the middle of the show, it's just like when you milk a cow and the cow kick over the pan of milk. You don't have to go any further. The pan of milk kick over same place as stadium and left around there the Sunday evening.
Who kick you over?
Me not call no name, Mr. Hughes. But the pan of milk. From the Monday morning, you hear a gentleman call you and tell you, he never use the word the pan of milk over. The pan of milk over back right at stadium and left there. And if you, before you even finish it, so now I want to, upon other day, I want to discuss it. Mr. Golding come with a pint, say.
By the way, before you go to Mr. Golding, I want to ask you one question while going near parish, because only 24% of people in Clarendon think the country going in the right direction, you know, Carl. 39% are wrong direction, you know, so what are you doing there?
Let me tell you something. Politics have a time for people tune out. And politics have a time for people tune in. Read that line.
So your people them not tune in?
Because at 24% are low.
Mr. Hughes, you know the, Mr. Hughes, you know the thing. Politics have a time to tune out.
I mean, I agree with you though, Carl.
And politics have a time to tune in.
Everybody tune in now.
Right. No, Mr. Hughes.
In fact, Carl, only Westmoreland, St. Thomas, Manchester, and only those parishes are ahead, worse, right, in terms of the perception.
Clarendon.
Clarendon are going good.
And yet Clarendon are carry back home the same amount of seats when they win the last general election.
Even in the northern part of the parish?
Say, with Northern. You don't have this foolishness to talk about Mr. Morgan.
No. I said the northern, the whole northern belt, not just talking about North Central.
Let people run up and down. Then carry out political Weavenheim could even back good when time the farm pitch. Weavenheim get a fine beating up there, so that I wrong seat then give to Weavenheim.
Me tell you, make sure it's the day after.
Which seat is which seat then give Weaven? Horace Daly, Northern.
We want discuss. Once it teaches them something with Father day with concerning Mr. Golding. Mr. Golding say.
Come we talk about that tomorrow. Let me give Maria a chance before the
all right,
program.
No problem.
All right, Carl.
I'm going to fix Clarendon.
24% going in the right direction. Marie.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Hughes. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Marie.
Good evening.
Yeah. Time come now for PNP to mash up the country again, for Mr. Golding to mash up the country again, because I can remember in the 80s when I used to have to buy saltfish, and the men go to the supermarket. If they are not buying a pack of sanitary pad, they cannot get saltfish and they cannot get flour.
Oh, yeah, said to me. That's what you used to buy?
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Yeah, I would remember all those things. So they come and they're talking about corruption. If we back into history, PNP have the highest corruption and a bag of corruption more than the party that is going for. If we should go back into history.
Right, but tell me some more about that, Marie. So you went to the shop in the 70s and you bought the sanitary napkin, saltfish, and what is it paired with?
No, I say I watch men coming home from work And they stop to buy like something to carry home to cook, like they would buy flour, rice, and if they don't, they want like a quarter pound of salt, or a half pound. If they're not buying a pack of sanitary pad, they cannot get it and then go with the sanitary pad. You see, they used to marry, and you'll have to, on Sunday, cornmeal mixed in with red peas and coconut milk for dinner.
Oh,
it was a
I
period.
remember those days, I don't forget.
It was a period of severe shortages in Jamaica.
I remember those days, back in the 80s.
And merchants, retailers, wholesalers
When
marry.
to married, and after, and I can go way back in history. When Mr. Siaga came back in power, he didn't stay any time until they pushed him back out, and they went back for PNP. The free zone lockdown, all the free zone when Jamaica was going back up on foot, they carried right back down again when they came back in power. Free zone started to close down, business places started to close down.
We lost her?
To find a better opportunity and to invest. They didn't want to invest in Jamaica anymore.
All right, Marie. Thanks for the call. Before I go to Chris, tell me about this marrying of goods.
Yeah.
So why did you need to take the pad with the saltfish?
Because the thinking was that, you would move the saltfish and the flour because the demand was always there.
Yeah.
But not so for certain goods, such as sanitary napkin.
Oh.
Yeah? So you would marry it to the
force them to
goods
buy it.
that are in strong demand. Yeah? And that was a lived experience, a lot of Jamaicans. Yeah, that really became a chronic problem towards the end of the Michael Manley government, leading up to October 1980. And to give the complete story, it was felt, that some of this was deliberately orchestrated to make the government unpopular at the time. Because the elections were October 30, 1980. We had severe shortages, and by the following week after the elections, those shortages disappeared.
And those shortages were because you weren't getting
It is
imports
felt that
from
the merchant
States.
class, the merchants were really deliberately
holding back.
Hoarding. Yes. We had a problem in terms of foreign exchange, buying stuff, so there was a route there for it. But was it as severe as it was made out to be? That was a political issue. Yeah.
Go through it, man. Go through it, man. Chris, is it? Chris, good evening.
Evening, Ricardo.
Good evening.
Sir Hughes.
Good evening, Chris.
You have 2 minutes.
Boy, that little lesson that you gave Ricardo there, Cliff, it need a whole show for that. And I think one day you should take some time to ventilate the 1970s and some of the issues that we have, because it's an important part of our history, And it is one of the things that we're not going back to.
We're not going back there.
No, we're not going back there, Cliff. Under no circumstances, whether JLP, PNP, or no P, this country cannot afford to go back to those dark days of the 1970s and the darker days of the 1990s. These are two periods in Jamaica's history that the young people must know about. And it is the duty of the political directorate, to go there and spread the message.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this morning you lead off with a story there on Nationwide, highlighting the Blue Dot poll. And I saw in my little strolling around on social media that the PNP was in a jubilant mood.
Especially on Facebook. I saw them, Chris.
Huh?
I saw the celebrations on Facebook.
Yes, but that was short-lived. Because by this evening, when the real numbers were dissected.
You know what you mean by the real numbers?
Not
the same data set. What do you mean the real numbers? Wouldn't that easy? Wouldn't that easy, Wouldn't just reject one part as fake and the next part as real?
The real numbers. As it relates to who, if we were to go to the poll tomorrow, who the Jamaican people want to vote for. That is what matters, And what your numbers are saying to us is that a majority, small as it is, a majority of Jamaicans would prefer to have the Jamaica Labour Party for a third term. And that to me is significant. I think the numbers could have been a lot more based on the performance and based on what we are seeing. But the truth is, when you look at the overall poll numbers based on what you have just highlighted during the course of the day, it says to me that there is still some level of disconnect with the ground and how the message of prosperity is being delivered.
Yes.
I think there is still some work to do in connecting what the government is doing and putting it in the minds of the people. A little thing that you had said earlier before I wrap, I know you are running out of time. The little thing that you said earlier about the performance and how people will tell it to your face sometime, which persons have said to me in Western Jamaica some time ago, that bypass road can't eat. Mm-hmm. But we have to start make it our duty to educate our people and to
make the connections for them.
To make the comparison and to highlight the fact that these developments means a lot to how we put food on our table. The Prime Minister, in his presentation at the town hall meeting in New York the other day, made a very powerful presentation. One of the things that took away from that discussion, Cliff, was when he said that we have never really focused on building an economy. And the average Jamaican today need to get it in the back of their brain that nothing can be achieved in this country without a strong economy.
Have to leave it there, Chris.
We need to start make that our daily conversation. The average Jamaican must appreciate what a strong economy does.
Yes.
And it's not just for poor people. But
I heard that presentation by the Prime Minister, and that was a powerful point. We have not included in our political discourse over the decades the need for a strong, robust, vibrant economy as a foundation on which you can get schools, police stations, public hospitals.
Roads, buses,
you can't get it if you don't have a robust economy. All right, sir. That's how we're going to leave it for this evening. Thanks to our producer, Miss Sonia Stewart. Thanks to our technical operator, Boogs, Andrew Anderson. The news and production team led by our editor, Cara Powell. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a famous gamer with